You've been talking my ear off about them for the last couple weeks.
I love
and Heretics, listen, we know these guys. One of the main criticisms we had, one of the main issues they had was time. They were burnt out. Now they've had their rest, their time to reset, and big challenge for FPX taking them down.
Yeah, they've also switched things up a little bit in terms of their composition. Miniboo going to be over to the Jet and bringing in the Sova. I'm interested to see because they were setting up around the breach quite a bit, but now that's gone. It's definitely going to be a different look. The look that's there for the side of FPX is one I'm always excited for. I think Berlin has to be a highlight. He is a nutcase. He's going to try weird stuff that you haven't seen before, unless you've been watching the Chinese region, in which case maybe you have. For now, though, a very aggressive defensive push all the way through A, looking to try and catch them on the flank, but I believe Life has spotted it.
He did. He was ready for that. Only peeked up the top, gave the info to Lysaurus. Good for one. The Sheriff, though, running low on ammo. Flash comes through. He won't dodge it. Now they're right on top of him. Easy trade for Heretics, but the site is claimed. FPX knew the ground they'd given up. Life up top looks to take it all the way onto Boo. And now they've got a foothold, an aggressive one that Heretics will have to fight for. And they win their first duel.
Aya's still up there, though. They might not expect the second, but they're playing as a unit, moving as a pack. Leaving Berlin, who hasn't actually been spotted in the corner, but Woot lands the shot anyway. Leaving Autumn to try and hold on. Utility expended, needs to land the shots first, doesn't go his way, and well, he's not going to get a second chance. Pistol goes the way of Heretics.
Yeah, you really see them sticking as a blob, whether it's the A-main push to start this off on the defensive side. They get up, they get the information, and then there's no splitting. There's no sending a player out to die by themselves. Instead, just using the numbers to their advantage in the pistol. It works out, and the few little extra plays that FPX tried, they don't manage anything. So 1-0 we start, rifles coming through, and I'm excited by what I'm seeing. There's still 15 seconds left. They could easily decide to sell some of these weapons.
You're going to talk about
what am I going to say? Goddamn right. It's an outlaw on Miniboo, the Jet. I'm excited to see what he can do. No shields on the other side, so this could be a big farming round for him. Bring him closer to that ultimate, but he's only got one orb on the board, so it'll be a while before it comes to fruition.
That's one of the most fun things about this map is what you can do with the Bladestorm. Like, you can literally jump off the map and go for kills. Yeah. That's some of the crazy stuff we've seen. I think Smoggy was doing that over on EDG. For now, though, Miniboo's just looking for those early fights. It seems more spread from the attack side. Maybe an attempt to just collect some orbs, potentially look for a plant. You can't really have too many expectations from a round like this, and they're playing it very safe. But I do think that dimensional drift is a huge part of what they're going to be going for. Site control, a big part of their game plan, but also it just allows Life to go crazy, and that's something that genuinely, he's one of the most terrifying duelists in the whole tournament because he is, as said, just a little bit insane.
I wonder if we'll see this continue. Much more passive hold over B. It was the same in the pistol for Boo, but his teammates were pushing A that time. Now, well, he has actually shifted into a slightly more aggressive position. Could be in trouble. Smoke used, though, to back out, concede the space, and with that, FPX will find themselves a plant. Again, the idea from Heretics isn't to stop them in their tracks, it's to wait and retake it as a unit. Already finding one with the Outlaw. The players on backside might have a chance with the Classics catching them off guard. Decent damage to Benji.
How much they can get in terms of the kills, though. Not really playing alongside each other. A little bit further back for Autumn, and it makes this training quite a bit easier. One kill at least, make things that a little bit more costly, but you can see Rian's only having a pistol. It's not really going to force any rebuys for the next round, other than the player who was already going to purchase anyway.
I mean, there was a decent amount of damage done, but yeah, just too spread across the players. So no kills converted, bar that one. No weapons dropped and left for the Ether. FPX will be facing off against a decent buy coming into the next. One investment from Team Heretics gets them a Vandal. Everything else is definitely in fighting form. The Bulldogs sort of backed up by the fact that you've got an Outlaw. You could be facing 10 HP, or just tag him once and let Miniboo do the cleanup. For FPX, rifles come out, and dimensional drift for Life.
That's the big one.
That's going to get them into a site.
Yeah, and you can already see, not messing about. All of the players are up over on the left side of the map, getting ready, pinging over onto the B site. It does seem, though, that Heretics have a decent idea. A very passive hold. Benji sitting back. Now, he should be able to clear at least some of the trips. Make sure that they're not going to be able to hold onto that ground. Although saying that, it seems like they're both still standing.
Yeah, there was a clear idea from Heretics to change their setup. Boo goes to the A site this round. Traps are here to try to catch these players as they make their way in or out of the site. But now the traps are down. Benji has been blitzed on, and with this FPX, able to fall back playing a lot of players in main. They've lost their mid control, but that's not that big of a stress this late in the round. Main thing is keeping life on the site and having the support to cover him as they cross. Even the TP used to get out of there, and now standard post plants on a long range angle down an alleyway. Already finding Miniboo, and even if they smoke this one off, it's going to be hard to get this stuck all the way with a big swing. Gravwell keeps them back a moment, buys them time, but not quite enough.
Yeah, it definitely came close. Aya tagged Life as well, so there was potential for them to try and bring that back, but the Gravwell couldn't quite hold them long enough, unfortunately, for the side
Nice try,
of
though.
Heretics.
I like the idea.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea. And you can see that, again, I think this was a map that FPX are using against a lot of teams because they're not going to be massively well prepped. But it seems like for Heretics, they have a decent idea of what they're going to be doing. They're playing this map because they're comfortable enough on it, at least, even if they haven't had a massive break. I know a lot of the players said that they sort of went home, had some time, maybe with family or friends, just to try and counter the bigger problem, which was the burnout. For now, though, it seems like FPX are going to go straight for that middle control. Now, we've seen teams using, well, even them, using the Viper wall for the same purpose, but instead already both smokes utilized early in the round just to try and take this space.
Oh, Life is really committing to this. Decoy sent through a flash to start, and they're trying to catch a fight. Unfortunately, they have. It was Benji Fishy to take down Life and slow this push completely. The squad now trapped in by Ult coming in from Woot. Big play from Boo. He's caught Autumn off guard. Barely any ground to hold on to for FPX, and now down to nothing. Berlin, he's made it to the site. His sneak up through B main is successful. Unfortunately, he's got 4 opponents to take down and a reveal that's going to make him give it away. The steps definitely shown Heretics where he is, and well, I don't think he's getting away with this one. The crash finally gets him.
Boo is nice. Boo is a nice person. He gets detained. He decides, you know what? I'm actually just going to finish him off before anything else can happen, and even get himself the extra ultimate orb, which gets him that little bit closer. The problem for FPX is financially a bit of a weird one. You've got yourself Aya with a bit of extra cash. The same can be said for Life, which, hey, again, you put him in the right position and things can definitely go their way. I feel like the problem with this round, though, was they wanted to try and go for mid-control, but it was very telegraphed. Like, you're using both smokes, like, unless you're going for some crazy fake play, I don't think it's going to fool anyone, and the main person that could have been caught was Benji.
Yeah, and he hit his shot. Simple as that. Miniboo, free kill,
God,
and he's dashed right out.
That dart caught everyone. It caught everyone.
That dart caught Life as well. A shock dart sent through, picking off one, damage done. Berlin down to 62. FPX don't have a lot to work with here. Obviously, still the rifle on Aya, but the rest of the squad just with pistols. And well, they are going to need a big performance to make this one. It's not about winning it. It's about keeping that economy managed on the Team Heretics side. They can't have all 5 players carrying rifles through to the next round, and at least there's the first to fall. Miniboo with Woot and Rien super low. This could still be an okay round in terms of economy damage for the attackers.
It does revolve. Maybe on a sneaky play from Autumn. He's making his way down mid. The problem is if his teammate falls, would mean that they eventually start looking back in the other direction while the cam's going to do that anyway. Even still, the aggressive position of Boo means that a plant is going to be tough. And even still, they're going to walk back into a trip. So there really is just going to be so much information. Boo is just waiting for a mistake to be made. Utility trying to be cleared from Aya, but he is dead. Like, unless Boo makes a massive mistake, I don't think there's any way that Aya's going to survive.
No, of course not. It's not an angle you will usually clear, and not one that you can from the position he was in. Free for Boo. Even at the information with the trap being broken earlier, and obviously the steps were loud as can be. Autumn with a chance. There's one, and low HP on Rienz if he can isolate the fight, but he wants the rifle, and Benji's guarding it. 4-1, a solid start to this defensive side. Heretics lose their 3rd round, one that they're kind of expected to, where they had the weaker weapons, but since rifles come out, doesn't look like they're breaking much of a sweat. That last round wasn't a big one from FPX, though. This is where the investment comes through for the attacking side. I
think the scary prospect, though, is just bear in mind that Bind is up next. A map that there was a 6-win streak for the side of Heretics until that was ended in OT by Vitality. That was the way that they managed to actually qualify for Champions in the first place. So I wouldn't say that Bind is going to be a weak map, and it's one that I don't think is the best for FPX. So and maybe they've changed things, maybe they got something new to throw in, but I think their sort of like hidden gem was this map. Not many teams are, I would say, at the top level, like at a good position. Like, a lot of teams are trying different things. I don't think a meta has necessarily been set. And if they're going to get, well, boomed, which I wouldn't say they are yet, but no, they need to slow it down. I like the fact that they've called a pause already. It's not really been like a catastrophic destruction of what they've been attempting, but I feel like so far everything they've tried, considering they've got this like Euro comp which is meant to be a bit off kilter and catch people, it hasn't. It's been quite obvious what they've been trying to do.
Yeah, Heretics have seemed ready for it every step of the way, and I think even that the mid push you talked about, as you said, telegraphed with smokes, then the decoy goes through, they let it pass, take the fight immediately. It was Benji dropping life after the flash, after the decoy had gone through, just avoiding the utility and dealing with the man himself. And I think that's a problem that FPX are going to look to solve by, as you said, slowing down this round, looking for a bit more global control instead of isolating just one angle and pushing down there, and then sending late lurks out that Heretics are ready for because they've often got the advantages. Like you said, they're not getting boomed just yet. 4-1, it's an acceptable early scoreline, but we need to see this attacking side find the solutions pretty soon. And now, this is the best time for it. A bunch of ultimates online, albeit Lysor and Berlin's not high impact, but the rifle's coming out.
They've tried to do the same again, like throw a couple of early smokes, but this is just a ruse. It's trying to sell the idea that they're going for the same play. The problem is there's been a change up from Heretics as well. They've now got the operator roaming in mid, so nobody else has moved. The orb being taken is definitely going to be heard as well. So again, like the idea was to try and sell some sort of fake, sell some sort of lurk, but thus far, that hasn't happened.
No success in that front whatsoever. Team Heretics with, you know, we mentioned the change-up in setup that we saw a few rounds ago where Benji came in to prevent this B-site push. You've not just got Benji, but Boo here as well. Both of these players, we've seen anchoring sites now committed to holding the angles. Decoy is the one that's sent through. It's not even going to be touched. They allow it to fade into insignificance. Trap, luckily, not going to catch anyone. Aya is able to destroy it in time, and they've claimed the space. Now the rotations come in from Heretics. Now they look to defend that B site or even to retake it, but little do they know the spike is going elsewhere. All they have to do on this site is buy time, and Aya's done a good job of that. Autumn might not be able to get out of here, but look at Lysor's position, sneaking up through mid, cutting this defense apart, and Autumn's even picked another.
It's a double dip, almost a triple dip. They sell an initial fake, throw it into it, what seems like a take of the B site, and then throw it back over to A again. That was really nice. Incredibly complicated. It's something that you do feel like at any stage, if Heretics managed to catch on, it could have gone completely wrong, but I like it. Like, you're throwing in the double smokes early again. You're then going to be using an ultimate and then and even sending a couple of players into that site and then going back in the other direction with, what, 20 seconds left on the clock? I think the main point of that round, though, was Lysor. Just having him still in middle, leaving Autumn as the secondary lurk, it makes it so difficult for anybody to actually move on Heretics without being caught or being put in a 1v1.
Well, early on, there's a big fight for A main. Just like the pistol, Heretics want a triple push up. They've spotted the operator already, and the dash actually caught on the wall. That's going to cost Miniboo his life. The flash stopped him from being able to see exactly where he was dashing to. Well, a terrific start for FPX, and I think this was a response from Heretics to the last round. They played it blind, tried to rotate, assuming FPX were going to be as one-dimensional as they were a few rounds ago, and instead, they now go for the push to get the early info, walk straight into the op, pick is found, and FPX can now go back to that 2D play because, well, they've got the advantage. You're not going to have as many players rotating in.
They're pushing into what is almost at this stage a double sentinel. It's a bit of a gamble, keeping both players here, even having a rotation out from the side of Wu as well, who has been hitting his shot so far. Wu even going to just be waiting behind, but it's almost just a peek out straight behind the utility. Wu goes down, Benji is still here, looking to try and fight on top of him. He almost gets two. The second player so desperately low, even knows that he's still on this corner. Just waiting for someone to try and swing around that corner. I think he's got him dead to rights, a second to his name. But that wraparound, they're waiting for it, they're trying to watch for it. And almost getting that information might just give the game away. Berlin still managing to fight back with another. Putting thing into a 2 versus 2, but that time has been ticking all the way along. Benji looking to try and get things to half. He's succeeded, but with his teammate going down, it's now left all onto him, surrounded in the end. And FPX, well, it got a little bit dicey, but they get it over the line.
Yeah, well, listen, you told me that Life does some crazy stuff, and yeah, I'm waiting for the TPs and so on. There he fake TPs, pushes through a smoke with an op. Hey, that's not a conventional play. It's not one I'd recommend you try at home, but my goodness, it most certainly has worked. And again, that early aggression towards A, the fact that Heretics try to take the space to find a solution to the problems they had last time, well, it hasn't worked out. And now from the Heretics side, you know that if you play it slow and rotate in off what is clearly an execute, FPX might fake it. If you go for the early aggression to grab control so that you know where the hit's coming through, FPX might be waiting. This is a very good resurgence. A team that was 4-1 down with no answers, they've certainly started to fill in that worksheet.
And the bigger problem now is the economy. I will say there's a lot of ults that are either online or very close. Miniboo one away, Rian's one away. This round, on paper, seems easy, but if I've learned anything from Heretics is that Benji plays better with the Sheriff. Mark, who's to doubt the other players on this squad. Again, I feel like the darts from Rians have pinged up the entire team multiple times. I feel like FPX might have to go to the workshop and try and shoot those before they go off. Again though, FPX just taking things slow. They know that a round like this is likely to have weaknesses, likely to have pieces missing, so they don't really need to overface.
All they have to do is get towards this side as well. They have the pit if things start to go wrong, but unlikely to be used in a round where there's mostly weaker weapons. Instead, this ultimate, the dimensional drift is used. Get into the site, root out all these players, grab the info, go for a very aggressive peek. The flash even thrown through by Woot gets nothing, and the control swinging clearly in favor of FPX. A 5 versus 2. There'll be no pit used this round, I'll guarantee you of that. With a plant on the bridge, this round has become very difficult for Heretics to even find anything in. You're talking about economy damage at this point, and it's one man. Make that no man. Aya's had a hell of a round.
Yeah, no, he just goes running in, takes the battles. Obviously, the space was taken initially by Life. Just, I don't mind committing an ult like that in a round where ultimately you're in a position to spare a few here and there and just make sure that you're not going to lose to pistols. As said, the opponents can be incredibly dangerous on the side of Heretics with those pistols in hand, and he was able to make sure there at least wasn't a direct stack on the side. Although there was 3 players around, and Aya, well, he kind of dealt with those very easily indeed.
We've had a Team Heretics pause called 4-1 in the lead, and now tied up neck and neck with FPX seemingly having an answer for every problem they're presented with. And this is a big round for Heretics. Last time, they had the pistols, like we said. Now, they've got rifles and an operator. Ultimates ×4. FPX still have that Viper's Pit to fall back on. Aya's picked up the Nightfall as well.
I think the things that worry me again is Miniboo. He's getting off to a bit of a quiet start, and we know that he is someone that very self-critical, very hard on himself, and also someone that I think the highs are very high and the lows are very low. Yeah. And obviously, you have players like Woot, Benji who can pick up the slack. There's no one on this Heretics team that I would say is a weakness. I guess the same for the other team. I think FPX clinically underrated. I think that EDG have their number, but when they come to the international stage, well, the teams they lost to last time around were Team Heretics, where they lost 15-17 in the last map in OT, and a team called Genji. So,
yeah, right, I heard.
And they took a map off both. So this is a team that I think, again, maybe if you're a Sentinels fan, you're thinking, it's fine, we'll have FPX in the lower bracket. I would not breathe easy just yet.
Well, they took a map off Genji, Sentinels didn't. Just earlier on.
Sure.
Face your fear.
But I think this group truly is terrifying from top to bottom, and I'm sure most people would put FPX at the bottom, but I'm not sure I do. Berlin already directly into the site. Loves his TPs, but it's a lot of damage done off the rip.
Yes, well, Aya's extremely low, but so too is Woot. Oh, hello. Crash still there to be used. Big backside push. Berlin holds the line for a moment, but then Woot on his low HP, the one to trade out, pick up the double. At least FPX scrambling.
Mid just to clear out that lurk. I think Rian just had enough. He's like, he's going to be here. I'm going to check. But again, it's an opening left on that A site, which is going to be a plant. Viper's Pit available, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop this, other than maybe Blind Hunter's Fury to try and deny the plant. That might slow them down a bit, and that is what he's going to go for. It's not hit.
It was close, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of his life, with Life himself being the one to grab that kill. Blade Storm, we just heard it activated by Miniboo. They're going to commit to this. And going through that Viper's pit with a Blade Storm might be an advantage. Find him, drop the right click and get it done. Flash out a little early. Life's going to get ahead of the Thrash, but not destroy it. Luckily, it's gone too deep. It's inside the ultimate itself. You're not going to be able to recover that, certainly not with any form of ease. Miniboo, I almost expected him to go up top. Instead, he's just running it through, finding one, but it's not the Viper. Now you're down to the Operator. That's not the right weapon for the job. The spray's good to drop the diffuser, and although Autumn falls, the time already too far gone, and they can't deal with Life. FPX, this started out abysmal for him, but they've taken the lead.
Yeah, I've heard the phrase "life comes at you fast," but I've never heard "life clutches it out," because that's he seems to be everywhere, and that's the thing. Like, Aya's been having a great game, but Life is up there as well. Normally as the tip of the spear, and somehow even surviving to the late game as well. And this round again was just the mid-round calling has been exceptional. Like, we have seen different moments where they start one side of the map, they go for these opening picks, and by the time you even notice it, they're back on the other side, they've cleared everything out, and even losing the lurk. Like, that was a moment you think, okay, the round's done.
Well, they had 2 lurks.
Yeah, and then they go hunting. Life again was the guy who got the kill on Riens.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. No, look away. Look away.
When you talk about Miniboo being self-critical, I hope he can let that one go. That's a rough one.
I hope other people can let that one go as well. I think that's going to be in a montage or two.
They only have pistols. At least they only have pistols this round.
Right.
It's not as bad as it could have been. That's rough, man. That is very rough. Yeah. FPX.
GB loves the phrase "from the top rope." I don't think that's what he meant.
From the mid rope, right down to the bottom. Well, 5-4, and it's a 5v4. With FPX having the lead without drawing blood themselves. They've got to be happy about that.
Berlin did get the kill.
Technically, it was given, but he wasn't too involved. It was by proxy.
No, it was just fear. He saw into Berlin's eyes. Maybe Miniboo has nightmares of Berlin in more ways than one.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. 4 players to try and find anything again. I feel like we've been saying this a lot, just an attempt to do damage, and wow, Woot's gonna get one for free. That's not too bad. Trade eventually there from Aya, keeping them honest. No ultimates if they needed them, but I don't think they will. This is now falling perfectly into place for the side of FPX. 6-4 from what was, correct me if I'm wrong, 4-1. They have now managed to streak themselves 5 rounds in a row. There you go. Well, you can see it on your screen. Don't need my help.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive resurgence.
It just, that's the...
Oh, you can see it in the player cam.
Oh. The thing is, it's the worst player for it to happen to as well, because I feel like if Benji has, like, he's going to be giggling, he's going to be having a laugh.
Laughing away.
I think Woot as well.
A silly little goose.
But Miniboo, after having a rough start, I feel like that might get to him. And he's going to go aggro. I think wanted to try and rectify things, but hey, FPX are meeting him.
They absolutely are. Look, with a guy like Life, we've seen this a couple of times. He's willing to play a little bit loose, a little bit crazy. Setting out the late lurk for Berlin. He's going to be covering the back lines where the traps from Cypher don't. And for Team Heretics, the same old thing. Group up, play this as a blob, move together. Smoke's online for Boo fairly soon. He's popping down his stars as we speak. But the time here is a big problem.
They've had it for a while. They could section things off. There you go. Space taken, but they have to deal with Life.
They also have to be quick because Berlin's on the way up behind. And if he finds that space before they've claimed the site, this could be an absolute disaster. Problem is, denying this defuse is very difficult. Oh, the run through is good. And the shorty comes out for more. A gorgeous play from Autumn. I thought that was going to be a close round, if anything, a guaranteed for Heretics back on the board. But well, FPX just doing FPX things.
The funny thing is, if Benji stood a little bit further forward, he dies to full damage.
He pushes him off.
He literally would have fallen off, but I guess it's a risk. It would be a big risk just to play that far forward, but yeah, the fact he jumps in, sprays ones down, and then gets the second with the shorty, like, and the Cosmic Divide was great, but again, when you're up against a team like this who have no fear, they don't mind playing through your utility, you have to basically body check them into not playing confidently, and I don't think anybody's managed to do that ever. And well, speaking of confidence, Autumn's coming into this round with the Viper attack side op. Actually, in fact, so is Aya.
Yeah, I mean, they've got extra credits. I have to assume there's a weapon on the floor in case things start to spiral out. This is the last round of the half, remember, and well, Berlin's got enough credits to buy them a few spare rifles, so does Lysor. for FPX, well, 6 rounds in a row. No surprise to see them playing confident, and even in the last round, I feel like they had that hero play, but they also had Berlin coming up behind. If the play was slightly slower from Heretics, throwing out a lot of opportunities for themselves in the late round. Now it's going to be the same thing.
Read again.
Lysor mid lurk, play to B site, but again, Heretics, all the utils here, and they've got Rians this time.
That's it. His darts have been impressive, and he's got it online now. Trying to get that information, and it is eventually going to be denied. In fact, not catching anybody this time. The one time it would have been almost instant death for the side of this attack. They're taking the space, jumping up. Benji's found the first. Holding that line, but it's not clean. It's not pretty. Oh, Aya's managed to take him down. Timer ticking and the spike still in an awkward spot. But again, he's always there, always behind. The timing's going to be everything, though, as Rians drops another. He's heard the steps of Minibu coming behind him. He's trying to catch this guy off guard instead, and now looks to switch back. That plant is just about going to be coming in time. And they've still got to worry about that flank.
Yeah, it's made its way up top now, and, well, it doesn't look like the flank's the main problem. Berlin's holding strong. Autumn's here to support, although he's lost his head. Now the flank going to be dealt with, but ammo is the main concern. 8-4 as we close out this half, and FPX, they were 4-1 down.
Yeah.
This was looking bad. They needed an answer, and by golly, they found it.
Yeah, no, this was just an impressive dismantling. I've really enjoyed the way that we've seen mid-round switch-ups, more direct takes. As I said, I think the calling, honestly, from the side of FPX has been utterly sublime. And then just those individual plays, like Lysor, bottom of the board, has been an irritant for them the entirety of this half.
Well, nothing but problems for the side of Team Heretics after round 5. There's been no success. They'll get a moment to recoup ahead of the next half. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Oh, come on. Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Lost myself, now I'm fully disguised. My heart got bruised up, so I put it on ice. Been told that I wouldn't make it in this life, but now all of you see there's so much room for me. And I know you think I still can take advantage, and you always took my humbleness for granted, but I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think I still can take advantage, but it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it, 'cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me.
After a big streak of rounds from FPX, it's got to be said, Heretics probably not feeling the greatest after that half. They had full control, hands on the reins. Now they've been left out in the cold. For FPX, everything's going right. Every call they make is coming to fruition, and I think for Heretics, this pistol will be essential. We've got Minibu, 3 and 10. He fell off the map as well. I mean, as far as confidence builders go, this has been a disaster of a start.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't get much worse, and just look at already what's being attempted. You got the Viper screen down in case they needed to cover mid, but instead they've just TP'd right into it. Benji, though, has managed to catch the first player. I want to point out there was more than one. Berlin is still going, but it seems like Boo is very aware of the potential of further aggression. They are holding for this FPX squad.
Yep, making some pressure on A, but I'm not even sure if they're looking to commit. For FPX, though, it seems quite clear that there's about to be a hit on that side of the map. The steps, the noise, the utility is all over there. 3 players now stacked up, with Berlin left with the responsibility of hearing the steps if the rotations come through. And considering they killed Young on mid, they might start to go quite quickly around. There's a lot of pings here, though. Pings that certainly indicate they're suspicious of a player being around here, and they've caught Berlin. Okay, the snake in the grass dealt with, and Heretics, I think, are going to move into the B site. Yes, they are, and it's wide open.
Yeah, they've been methodical this round. I think they were very ready for that mid push, something that is attempted by FPX in a fair few rounds.
30 seconds left.
Watching it from multiple angles, and while now for the defense, they are going to need themselves a bit of a hero play. Wingman will be sent through. A little obstacle course for him to make it onto the site, but defense are already here. All 3 players looking for someone to make a mistake.
Well, perhaps Rian's has. He faced into Lysor, who seems to be hungry for some kills, already picking up 2. A damage done to Benji. This is workable. With Lysor down, the pressure falls on Autumn. He's had some big plays, big rounds, but it's a little tough to do in the pistol, surrounded on all sides. And Heretics, everybody put the work in this time. A team ace to put a round on the board after quite a while. They finally get to taste victory.
Yeah, it's an important one for them. And now that's both pistols in this map 1, and currently still going to be at a deficit unless they manage to win the bonus or something of that sort. It's definitely not an ideal scenario. But I will say, from what we've seen, at least in the pistol, they're aware of what's going to be attempted by FPX. The thing is, they've cooked up a lot of stuff on this map. I'm still waiting for the round where Berlin gets his ultimate online to see if he's going to try some of the stuff that he was attempting in previous matches versus EDG, trying to jump off the map, use his ultimate to teleport across, cancel it, and then Shrouded step back onto the map, and then he got shot in the face. But the idea is there. It's just, if he can make that work, he's going to look like the greatest player ever. But this round, well, any kills would be nice, and any damage they can do. On the other side of things, as always, Heretics have got a couple of pistols that they can use as, well, in this case, lurkers, or to take more of a risk if needed.
Yeah, much more controlled early round from Heretics than what we saw from FPX in those first couple. Spread out, just looking to push and pull the map and get a sense of what they're up against on this defensive side. For FPX, the gamble on B, well, I'm not sure that it'll find value. That aggression you're seeing out of Heretics is only to find the orb, and then they're on the rotation back towards this site that's much more open. Just one man defending it, and Life is about to go through the smoke, and that will be the end of him. A site now open for the taking. A little bit of Cypher utility awaiting them, but no one to execute on the back of it.
No one there.
30
He can walk into every single one of those trips unless it catches him and pulls him off the map. I don't think that's going to be working. And I was about to say, surely at this point, if he hasn't realized it by now, we have a problem. For the rest of the players, it may genuinely just be a, well, I was going to say die to the spike, or, you know, there's other ways. Oh no, I tripped.
I have tripped and fallen. No. FPX, I think the spike is the likely play. And look to just punish anybody that gets aggressive.
If they catch someone, get an orb. The thing is, none of their ultimates are even remotely close. Lysor is the closest, and I don't think it's worth risking giving stuff over to the other side. Although, Boo is going to gamble. He wants to try and get himself a little closer. Only has a pistol to play with, so it's an orb for an orb. Not going to be the worst scenario, not going to be the best. And while Heretics have closed the distance a little bit more. The problem being, though, is in the buy rounds is where FPX were, well, as you can see by the timeline, by far the better side.
Yes, absolutely. When those rifles come out, when old cycles are through, and honestly, a lot of the time it's been nothing to do with ultimates. It is just how they're playing the map. But on the attack side, it's a different game. I don't expect them to slow down too much, though. The results here, this is, well, it's their pick for a reason. On this defense, B-site, Viper, Autumn's been having a good game so far. And his challenge is a little bit more aggressive than what we saw from Heretics. Boo was constantly playing far back in heaven, or Benji playing towards the spawn with his utility. Instead, Autumn is out looking for a fight.
Because they've got Thrash online. If he's not put into a better position, or if he's caught out, he is the only defender of this site. So that definitely could be an issue. I think also just playing on this side when there's a Gecko, because that is the normal route to send through Wingman to get you into the after plant. It's the common post plant that we see from a lot of teams. And I guess with Berlin now alongside him, it isn't so much of a risk. I think we've also seen a bit of utility on the other side of the map. So I think FPX at this point have a pretty decent idea that doesn't necessarily mean that Heretics are going to stick to this. In fact, no, they're doubling back.
Yeah, some of these rounds are going to hinge on that mid lurk, and we've seen Benji sitting around this position, but only holding for the aggression. Not looking to get up in their faces, opening the door at least to cause some paranoia, but, well, FPX know there's nothing going on. Life has committed himself to holding down middle. FPX have a lot of utility on A. We saw this in the last round. The traps were there awaiting them. Although we'll have Thrash going through first, you've still got to avoid those traps. That's exactly what Miniboo does. Updraft dash takes Heaven control, but no punish just yet there. Lysor eventually falls from the jump up. Miniboo looks to be a thorn in their side. Up in Heaven, not just by himself, but with 2 players, make that nobody. Woot dies, and the fallback from Boo now leaves Miniboo alone.
They've seen him. It seems like it. Lots of utility being expended, and he's isolated. And the aggression elsewhere hasn't succeeded either. Boo falls, puts the advantage with the defense. Rians and Benji. A little bit of an angle over the top, which might just give the game away. A nice shot from Rians, puts things back into a 2 versus 2. And for a moment, it looked like Ayung was going to try and jump around, but he's thought better of it. That time continuing to tick, Rians continuing to land every shot. 4 kills for him in this round. That Sova switch seems to just work for him. An agent he thrives under, but well, maybe the Guardian's working just a little bit better.
Well, everything else went wrong for them there, but Rian's went right. Unbelievable. The fact that Miniboo's isolated, either expected or spotted up in Heaven, dealt with the utility thrown down and him forced out of position, and that Woot got caught going up. You know, the idea was to have 3 players there to take a fight, to maybe even flash through the smoke and get super aggressive. But once Woot falls, Boo's in no man's land and quickly swept up.
It's the Turkish Olympian. He doesn't need any of that high-tech mumbo-jumbo.
No.
Put a gun in his hand, and wow, they'll be hoping this time it's not the silver medal. Either way, that has wrecked the economy of FPX.
Yeah.
Ayung is going to be in the same position, trying to make that Guardian work. To be fair, when he's had a hero rifle, there has been extra damage caused. There's no doubt about it. The rest left just onto pistols. I guess in that case, I'd probably be watching Lysor, because his share is fairly nasty. For the other side, though, you got Hunter's Fury, 1 away as well from a Cosmic Divide, which for the most part, it's not normally the most impactful, but when you're up against pistols, being able to section off an angle, if there's a stack, could be high priority. Instead, though, Heretics, again, they fall into this passive default. They are expecting aggression. They're expecting pushes, and to be fair, other than the mid push, no one's really moving.
Yeah, it's a slow play. And with 40 seconds left, that's when Heretics start to look somewhere else, start to move, and abandon those lurk catches. Well, if Berlin hadn't walked in with his back turned, I think that could have been a different fight. Instead, Miniboo grabs the opening. It does spur them onto the B side where everyone's waiting, and it's Ayung taking 2 headshots at that with the Guardian. And they're in a bit of trouble jumping across that bridge because Ayung's still waiting. His 4th kill locked in already, and Benji Fishy left in an impossible situation. 3 players, and Ayung looking for the ace. He's got it locked in. Another round for FPX, and what a way to do it.
Well, 2 rounds, 9 Guardian kills. I don't think you're going to find that too often in the history of Valorant. 2 players that can both hit the headshots, but Ayung just doing it a little bit better. The first 2 was so disgustingly clean, but let's be real. I think there was about 1, maybe 2 missed bullets in the entirety of this round for him. FPX showing the depth of skill. He is 19 and 10 right now on the scoreboard. Nobody even close.
Yeah, and again, I hate to harp on it, but we opened this up by talking about it, and even we finished the EMEA Stage 2 by talking about Miniboo's state. This is a guy that relies on confidence and hasn't had it recently. Bottom of the board, 5 and 12.
They got killed that round.
He did, great, fantastic. But I mean, the problem is, when you look at FPX now, they have the exact opposite problem. Confidence has got to be sky high. They had a streak of rounds in the last half. Now they've put one on the board here in the defense in that kind of fashion. The only thing is, Heretics are still in an okay position to buy up. But if they lose this round, that's the first domino knocked over. For FPX, they're getting into the home stretch.
I think that the thing for them in this series, though, is, again, it's what I said when they were 4-1 up. I'll say it now that they're down. This is the map that if FPX are going to compete, they have to win. Like, I think going into Bind, Heretics going to feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's a map they've got a lot more reps on, in officials, at Masters, you name it, they've played it. So I don't think they're going to be too worried. But of course, coming into this tournament, you want to start you want to start as clean as possible, because you know if you win this one, you've got your grand final again. Yeah. We've already seen one grand final rematch. I think most people were expecting a second. This group truly is terrifying. Life though, well, that's just absurd. He just tried something so risky, and he has walked into. Yep, that's the whole Heretics team.
That is everybody. Young might be in a position to get under that. I think it's just about going to catch him. We'll see. Yeah, he's had to break it as he makes his way through, and now they're aware. They're turning.
Would have made it if he was bold. That's all I'm saying. Another win for the bold gang.
Another win, the first win, let's say.
Wow.
Team Heretics, 4 versus 1 at this point. It seems to be locked in, but it's Young on the other side. I'm not certain it'll be an easy victory if he decides to go for it, but definitely one that seems locked in.
I believe.
Economy, a little shaky. And for the defensive side, I think it's better to just carry this weapon through to the next. They've made the right call, but that does put Team Heretics with a foot in the door.
Yeah, it sort of is. What's the desk was talking about? It's the aggressive plays either look amazing or they look like that. You try and flash through a smoke, the whole team is waiting on the other side, you get wrecked. It's going to happen. It's how this composition almost works for them. Like, you have yourself that solo initiator, and because of it, and they do this a lot, they play the double controller or even triple controller on a lot of maps, so you're very reliant on the solo initiator or, and in most cases it's the or, Life to be an initiator with his face. So he's going to go running into angles, flashing into angles. You'll see it, no matter the agent, if he plays Jet, if he plays Raze, he's going to be taking space that you wouldn't even expect the craziest of duelists to take because of the comps that they're running, because they're more reliant on him to do stuff like that. And unfortunately, well, you lose 2 opening picks immediately off the rip. The round's going to go wrong. Luckily, with that extra save, with the extra gun, they're still going to come in with the purchase. And Ultimate's, honestly, at this stage, fairly even.
Yeah, relatively neck and neck. I mean, you can understand that last round, the early aggression. Sometimes you got to just throw in a little extra flair to your round. And if there's a lurker there, he's dead, most likely. But, well, there were 5 people ready to take the fight. For FPX, rotation comes through. Life now in position, ready to take this B fight. In fact, a decoy is sent straight through, and Life is awaited. They let the decoy run past, took the main man down, and now the advantage, well, actually quickly flips hands. Autumn making a fight for it. Boo, though, answers back up alongside Woot. A 2 versus 3, a retake needed for FPX. The spike planted relatively open. The Thrash online just in case. And there's not a lot to say for FPX in terms of their chances. They need picks, they need to get aggressive. At least they'll have the information to work with, but I don't know what that is going to get them. Maybe point the guns in the right direction. Little lurk around from Young. He's going to go for it. Yeah, but find absolutely nothing. A firing squad waiting for him.
Yeah, Brians is there. So clean with it at the end. Scoreline equalized. Another round on the board for Heretics. And again, I think some more just solid utility. We saw the initial flashes that I think the Gecko flash caught like everybody who was on that site. Like every POV we switched to, I'm sure of the observers, like, get one that isn't blind, just try and find them as they go, but it was rough on the way in. And I also think the dart, yeah, you could just see the combination of utility. You had the dart, the immediate Hunter's Fury, and then the Dizzy that just left everybody within that site without being able to see and being revealed. And I think there was even a counter ultimate of a Nightfall that was thrown in by the defense, but it didn't matter because, well, you might not be able to hear anything, but you can see exactly where they are because of re-ends.
Well, that one round from Young, his 4 kills on the Guardian. We thought that might have spurred them on, put them into the home stretch with just one more round. It put Heretics' economy in a pretty tough spot, but now they've bounced back neck and neck with the attack side certainly getting the grips with their bank accounts, their credits rolling high. Even after buying, they could buy for the next round already. And if they receive nothing. And for FPX, definitely not in the same boat. They're left down to pistols, although at least they're not at that 9-7 gap or 10-7 gap facing an eco. But taking it here means Heretics likely push up to double digits, and if damage isn't done in this round, they'll have a lot of safety net to fall back on.
That's similar to the last half, but at this stage looking a little bit worse for wear. And I think that the problem right now seems to be that any of the aggression they're attempting is just met with the full force of their opponents. And I think Heretics are doing well, in at least when it's versus the buy rounds, they're basically just grouping up. They're knowing that, okay, either we go for a direct take together, we have our trips to still give away the game, but also they're probably going to push. And as long as someone's playing anti-flash or looking the other way, a lot of what Life is going to be attempting isn't going to work. This setup is dirty. They've got a Paranoia setup, a cam looking forward. They could also send a Prowler through from the corner. This is an almost perfect trap if somebody walks into it, which they didn't. So now the rest of them are going to go hunting this guy with a Guardian. Iyoung is gross.
He needs to stop buying the Vandal.
Yeah, waste.
There's no reason. It's 20 and 11. So many of those are Guardian kills. So many of those are one taps. 50 seconds on the clock. Spike's already made it to the B site. Planted as we speak. Woot, well, his Dizzy's gone. He's going to play aggressive. He's not going to recover that Dizzy up top instead to try to disorientate the team. The defensive side with a flare of aggression. Benji's caught one on the flank, but there's a lot more coming. 20 HP left on Iyoung. That'll limit his impact. Autumn, I thought he had something special up his sleeve, but just the one to be found. Still, though, a 2 versus 2. If Iyoung had full HP, I might even favor them in this position. I might favor them still. A chance with both solo. 10 HP in the difference. Shock dart in. Rien's finding it. And double digits is locked in. This, considering limited investment from FPX, came very close, though.
The util king. Honestly, Rien's having a game. Whether it's his reveals, whether it's the shock darts, or whether it's just the headshots he's hitting, he's playing a wonderful match. And right now for them, it has been a difference maker. They haven't been able to really do too much to deal with him. Again, though, it's a low buy round that just gets so dangerous. Iyoung with that Guardian, another couple of kills. In fact, I think the last kills he got before that were also with the Guardian when he got that 4K. That was when we last saw something from him. Viper's Pit immediately put into play, trip alongside it, and it means that they're going to try and gamble elsewhere. Have 3 players towards the B site. Middle control will be held by Lysor, but once again, and no surprise, Heretics are taking their time.
Lysor is going to be pretty passive. Extremely passive, in fact, because you've got the trap sitting inside that Viper's Pit on A. You have 3 kill if they decide to push up. And even if they break it, you're going to have Autumn probably swinging on you right away, spraying a Phantom, no tracers, and you're already decayed massively. It's a huge bit of control to play with for this defensive side, allowing them to stack that B site. The only real concern is mid, and if pressure gets applied there, TP from Life, he's there to fight alongside Lysor, and they can take their duels. Heretics will find it hard to find a response, especially as they've pumped the brakes so heavily in this round. With 40 seconds left, still yet to really make any ground. Rien's considering the drone through A, making it look like this is where the play is coming in, and the hope being that the rotations do come through. Life is TP'd off B at least, so they found it an easier job on that side of the map. Oh, and the push through into heaven.
Leaving one player there, it's Berlin. He's going to be actually pinged immediately by the Dizzy, but it allows him to go back into position. Woot, though, defending his little bro. That means they're going to get into that afterplant. Utility retrieved. The rest so far away. Iyoung, though, has pushed in on his own, and well, he's going to get double swinged for it. A little bit over-aggressive, a little bit individualistic, and because of that, the rest of his team are now still a man down, and they've got to be worried. There is the latest lurk on planet Earth from Benji. He's only just made the drop. I think it actually got heard by Autumn, so he's now waiting. That's another kill to their name, putting things back, but again, Rien's so clean, so confident in these late round scenarios. Autumn's just going to try and get in and defuse this, but actually, I was going to say maybe he wouldn't be pulled off, but I think he has been. The angle not being able to be kept, and eventually it's going to fall flat on its face. Another round where Rien's the last one alive and taking down that final kill.
You know, this round, it makes sense why Benji took so long to get back out, because they made this the most telegraphed A push, A split of all time. The drone goes through the Viper's Pit, it catches the tag, immediately on middle, Benji's breaking open the vents, running through to the A site, and letting them know, hey, we tagged you, we're coming to kill you, we're going to drop that pit, take the site. And the response is what it should be from FPX. They immediately rotate in. Your Viper can't just hold a 360-degree angle, but because of that, these sites much more open. Isolated fight onto Berlin, site secured, plant in, time on their side, and Benji, yeah, he plays it super, super late, but that was what needed to happen. Otherwise, he just runs back out on mid. They obviously know he's there. They kill him. One less guy to deal with.
The danger now, 4 ultimates online for Heretics in a round that if they win, wow, it will put the economy of FPX in an awkward position. Their ultimates, some close, 1 or 2 online, but this is looking like a spot where Heretics might be able to just run away with it. And as said, this is a map that is pretty important for FPX to take. Heading into Bind up next. Miniboo, space taken. He's got the Thrash actually going in behind him. That will clear the back of the site and give them all the space they need.
Should even be able to get back over to recover that, but Woot, picking up the kill onto Young. I don't think he's going to be going for Thrash. Instead, holding onto that control. Up close is Miniboo. Ready to take the fight. No one there to support him anymore, though Heretics fall back into much more passive positions. Miniboo's on his own to slow them down, to make it costly for FPX. Now there could be some trouble. The ult forces him out of position. He knows he was about to be revealed, but Lysor gets the kill. Now the aggression from Life. Flash. Should have another. There it is. Popped and ult completed. Not able to find anything. Sending the decoy through. Just buying the space. Keeping them back in the choke point as the defuse starts. Now he'll body block. Look to absorb those bullets for his teammate. They've killed Life. And now they need the diffuser. Looks like they'll get him just in time. With it ticking away, all they have to do is deny that defuse with the man advantage to their back. And the classic kills to close it out. That's 12-9. FPX left in a really difficult spot now. Economy down low, and 3 in a row needed to stay alive.
That's the thing. If you're in a late round and you see Rienz is alive, just run. Just run. Like, it's a little bit unlucky, like the smoke fading just revealed Berlin to everybody at the end. The body block from Life was a nice idea, but that smoke just, it wasn't quite there, just not long enough. And while the final push from Rienz, him and Woot, the Turkish duo, up there at the top of the board.
And I think the smoke faded because when they put it up, I could be wrong, but I think they took a second to get towards it because they were cautious of any traps being there. With such a passive hold as well, like I saw them crouch walking into the smoke. An unfortunate one. The 12-9 on the board. Heretics on the cusp of victory. And the map they were 4-1 up in and then lost a streak of rounds, but Rienz is pulling them, kicking and screaming back into this series.
Yeah, it's going to sound harsh, but when you have initiators putting up this many numbers, sometimes your duelist can have a bad game. Like, it really does. It's so ridiculous how talented these 2 Turkish players can be.
Get out of my way!
And let's say it's been needed. Like, FPX have at no point looked out of this map. In fact, it looks like it was going to go dominantly in their favor at a stage, but the second they got onto this defense, it's been a round won by Young. And other than that, not a lot to write home about. Bladestorm in. Young also has the ult available, and Berlin's gone pushing. So is Autumn. Yeah,
they got all the control. They know it's an A-hit that's coming through. The thing is, Benji, he doesn't react in time. The player on the side of his screen. Autumn's picked him up, and now the flank comes underway, or the quicker rotation through the vents. Young able to grab one, and it's Lysor's double. At least giving them a chance in this with low HP, the decay fading, but Boo still on 54. He'll have a tough time in closing this one out. Still stars to play with. Has his grab well, and that is going to be the port of call to start this one off, buying him a little bit more time. A lucky spam could even the odds. And indeed, they baited out immediately, aware that he's going to be trying something nasty like that. He needs to start spraying. He knows this could be being diffused, and they're waiting for just that. He's seen both. Now he knows it's not even half just yet. He's got a bit more time to play with 4 bullets, and not enough to take them down. The defuse will go across the line for FPX. They'll reach double digits, but they still need 2 more.
Yeah, I think he was incredibly wary of the flank initially just because those were the players that pushed mid to kill off Benji. So he was so worried about it, but just getting that little bit of information gave Boo a chance to fight. But with the low HP already on the board, wasn't to be. And again, a lot of this comes down to just the initiative. This was something that in a lot of the games we saw from FPX where they were successful on the defense, they had a lot of cool ideas, a lot of aggressive pushes, but I think with how Heretics have been playing around mid, they've been deterred. They haven't been able to get away with a lot on this portion of the map and had to go for something quite a bit later. 2 rounds the difference. 2 rounds is all they've had. But as we've seen, they're very good at streaking rounds together.
With these weaker weapons, I'm not expecting much. Woot, though, has the rifle and is able to grab himself at least the trade to start this one off. Moving towards the site, we'll see the plant come in from the wingman. Already mostly through. The spray's not quite landing, so they're able to fall back now. 2 rifles, 3. Well, make that 2 again. It's Boo and Benji Fishy holding the chances of this squad in their hands. They only have 2 chances to close this out, and this one, well, it's not quite their best opportunity with Boo tagged up, or well, decayed down by the nightfall. The defuse already underway. Here comes the shock dart lineup, though. Grabwell already used to start this one off. Flank spotted as well. Lysor won't get a free kill, but with Boo falling, the numbers thin out. They've dealt with flank, but they haven't dealt with the defuse, and the Hunter's Fury way too late. They'll get a tag, but that's all, and an ult expended for little to no impact.
Yeah, they might be able to hold on to their weapons and again make things a little bit more costly, but FPX are not going to mind. They managed to drag this back at the depths to look to try and take this to OT. And again, like for what was invested, not a bad round from Heretics, but just throwing in that ult at the end, thinking that, okay, maybe they've got it half, maybe they've got it close, but it was a lot further along than I think anybody over on the Heretic side had thought. Yeah, it was basically done. It was only if he was incredibly low HP that would have made a difference. 12 to 11, still having a Thrash available. It's going to be something to play with, and definitely still wary of these aggressive pushes. For now, though, again, looking a lot more direct from the side of Heretics.
Well, it absolutely is. We saw Thrash put into the hand of Woot, and now sent out to find a victim. Drop. That was an interesting dash up top. Young in the perfect position to punish it. And now Benji, well, he's not going to get away with absolutely anything. They really want to fight for heaven for Vents, but they will get nothing. Heretics left down in the dirt. 12 to 12. We're going to overtime on map number 1. This was looking like Heretics had it in the bag, but a last-second resurgence from FPX keeps them in it.
I think it's been both teams now that I've expected it to go dominantly to FPX after an incredible first half. Then I was like, okay, well, this is done. And now it's gone to OT, but probably in one of the weirdest fashions I've ever seen. And the thing is, I don't think Ayung had been playing that position much. Like, we'd seen Minibu multiple times dash up there and have no contention whatsoever. This time, Ayung is waiting. 27 and 16, by the way. It is him and Riens who are really running the show. The question is, who's going to be able to take it over the line? FPX, it seems like all the bells and whistles, all the fakes, all the ruses might go out the window here, as all the players, all 5 in fact, are outside B.
Need that back.
Well, Heretics going for the same push-up on A, but seeing absolutely nothing this time. Going to be much quicker rotations going around, plugging the gap that's on middle, and mainly trying to support this B site. Unfortunately, they won't be there in time. Look who snuck into position, though. Boo. It's not a normal spot to be playing from, and they're not even going to clear it. They're not even looking this way. That's the spike right in front of him. He's letting it get half planted just in case he can find another kill, and not quite, but he does the damage. Lysor on 8 HP, but the advantage sits with FPX, and it's Lysor that's going to go forward to plant this spike, I believe uncontested, unless there's a crazy shock dart. There actually was! Riens fires it in and takes him down! And Autumn and Berlin, now another man sent in to plant this spike, a death sentence most of the time. I believe another, it's a reveal in fact, not a shock this time. It was sent through and it's caught the information. They know where FPX are holding this from. Autumn needs a big play and only the one to be found. Berlin, 1 versus 2. And they're all going to be diffusing in that narrow little alleyway. If there is a chance, the spray might just work out, but they're trying to bait him into a fight. He sees they're not diffusing. He'll buy this time just a little bit further. In fact, the clock here could prove to be the biggest enemy for the side of Heretics as they start this diffuse yet again. The swing is in, but the shots don't land. FPX punished this time, and it's Heretics to push to 13. Riens with a phenomenal round. That shock dart was perfect.
They're going to be calling for agent bans. That's what they're going to be looking at. It's like, guys, I've had enough of map vetoes. I want agent vetoes just so I can get this man off a damn server. Bear in mind, last time they played this map, he wasn't playing Sova. He was playing Breach. So that's something they've brought in for the game today. and it has been disgustingly good. Whether it's reveals, as said, or shock darts. Okay, maybe a hit or miss with the Hunter's Fury, but I don't think they're going to mind too much. Well, you could understand the elation from Benji. They've got another opportunity. They've already had 3 of them to close out this map, and FPX, well, they got an extra pause. They're using it.
Now's not the time to let this one slip. With that a little bit of extra brain juice expended for Team Heretics, they've got to be feeling fantastic. I will just quickly note that Boo currently has an Odin. I don't think he's going to commit to that, but attack side, they might have post-plan setups with Rienz's reveals and Benji's traps on B side. It could be nasty.
So there is a, I think I showed you this when it came down to their B side hold.
Nest.
Yeah, he has a Nest wallbang that he uses for a specific post-plan. So if he is pulling this in, I would be very surprised if they're not going B, because he has an exact post-plan for this.
You know, you showed me that, and I used it in my next rank game. And let me tell you, the things that were written in chat, I'm pretty sure some people got banned. But it's good fun, and I think pulling it out at a time like this will be unexpected for FPX as well. Like,
they haven't used it at all.
The only thing I'll say is that FPX have been tremendously cautious about trap wires. I saw it on the A site retake. I've seen it a couple of times where they're going into a site and they're looking everywhere to find those traps. If they make the mistake of not clearing them this time, they will be punished quite heavily.
But also, he just knows his lineup for the post plant. So
yes.
if the traps might not even be an issue, really. It's just going to be if they can get into a post plant, which, hey, if you're running a Gecko, I feel like you should be able to do that, and they have been able to do that. Autumn already spotted. Boo already in position, ready with his lineups, just to try and be an absolute rat at the back of the site. And while this is maybe the scariest post plant FPX are going to ever have to face into.
They might not even know what they're facing just yet. That's the scariest part. You see the stars down on the spike. The Gravwell to deny. Benji's been in this position quite a few times, more than a handful of times. But this time they're not checking it in time. Luckily, Lysor reacts, finds the kill. The defuse started, at least that's as far as Heretics know. Some kills come through though. They reclaim the space. The Odin takes Lysor. The drop from Berlin is good. Able to at least find the one, and Rienz is incredibly low. Boo's caught up top. That's a big mistake. All he has to do now is root out Rienz and deal with Woot, but that's a big task halfway when Rienz swings in to close it out. 14-12. They push them to the limit, but Team Heretics take it across the line.
No, incredible performance from them in the end. It was a back and forth all the way through a map that we favored for FPX, a map that, as said, they looked incredibly good on, but ultimately the hero plays from the likes of Rienz, Woot were fantastic. Either way, still more to come. Bind up next after the break.
How many times can I say no games? Your favorite artist telling me Jay's cold, but still I won't say no names. So far ahead, left them in Stone Age. I am the king, this is my domain. Spit so much things like I breathe propane. I take flight, serve up like a hostess. Everything that we do is real, no hocus pocus. We're not the same, but you already know this. Been around for a while, but I still bring heat like a solstice. I'm about to live it and take notice. Blur out the faces, I've got to stay focused. They want me to fall off, that's why I keep it loaded. Light up the way, I come like a solstice. I'm about to live it and take notice. Blur out the faces, I've got to stay focused. They want me to fall off, that's why I keep it loaded. Light up the way, I come like a solstice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Valorant Champions Seoul, as we just saw Heretics take Abyss from FPX, which was FPX's pick in a map that we have praised FPX for playing in a very fun and unique way. But today, in OT, it belonged to Heretics. And Paperton, I know that there is a lot of conversation about what are the win conditions here for FPX. This Abyss map was one of those for the series. If they wanted to have give themselves a bit of a leg up in this one, Abyss was something they needed to pull through.
Yeah, I totally agree. It really does feel like this was a must-win map for them, and it looked pretty good coming into half. 8-4, you're like, okay, yeah, they've got this. They started to really roll some rounds together there. They got a good read on Heretics' defender side and how they want to play it, but then Heretics come into their attacker side and they look like fire. They have great ideas with this Sova, some great timings with the recon, some great shock darts. Rian's just some phenomenal shooting as well.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they were able to flip the script, and with a different comp that kind of caught a lot of us off guard for Team Heretics, it ended up getting them over the line.
Yeah, I mean, Woot in particular was absolutely excellent in this first map of the series. He had a couple moments where I think he wasn't quite the superstar he was at Shanghai playing in EMEA, but he's immediately back in global event form here, showing up and winning some crucial rounds, because quite honestly, I thought that was going to slip away for Team Heretics. They had a big advantage that they started to build in that second half, I think in particular brought on by some great mid-rounding from Boo. They were always getting themselves into these post-plant positions, and the post-plant protocols were really, really excellent there.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you can see there as well, you had mentioned briefly, Paperthin, Rians, and I mean, guy popped off that game as well. So when you have that supporting cast, stepping up in such a capacity like that, it's going to make it very difficult for FPX to be able to walk away with a dub out of this one. But another kind of talking point here was Mini Boo on the Jet. Not something you see him do all that often, which is odd to say considering, he's a duelist, but he's been playing so much Neon lately. But you definitely saw him kind of just get neutralized a few of those rounds. Didn't really feel like he had much of the impact, which goes to show why this Heretics team is such a, dynamic roster, because anyone can step up and pop off for this team.
For sure. I was a little bit surprised by the roster change the comp change we saw coming out from this team. I thought that the Raze especially was really strong. I kind of got bringing in the Sova instead of the Breach there, having that information, some of the ideas they had around the shock darts, especially in their post plant, I thought were really solid. But again, the Jet from Mini Boo just does not look as comfortable as his other roles, and I think it did show in that game. But luckily, this is a team with a lot of depth in players that can step up in the late rounds to keep them in these games, and they don't just have to rely on one guy to be that superstar. Yeah, no, couldn't agree more with that one there. But of course, it's time for our HyperX Reflex moment. We're gonna show you a little ace. You know which one. Round 16 from Ion. This is gonna be, of course, I mean, just that first
pop there, and the wall goes down, and it's like just an aim lab routine.
And it's all Guardian too.
Yeah, it really
unreal.
Is. Yeah, absolutely awesome stuff there. Unfortunately, FPX weren't able to pull through, but it took, Heretics squad climbing their way back and then pulling it out in OT. Tough one for sure for FPX to lose.
They really had to claw back for sure to Heretics. I mean, it felt like to me all of a sudden I was like, okay, you've got to read now here on how some of these Astra maneuvers are going to occur, what the Jet's trying to do, where the lurks are going to be coming from Benji Fishy. Those were actually really well accounted for by FPX. However, when it came to some of their decision-making and retakes and things like that, they just weren't quite up to snuff. They weren't quite at the same level. Heretics do a great job setting up the post plant. The Astra is really annoying as well. We saw that come into play a couple times. So all those things kind of put together just made it really hard for FPX to come away with some wins on their defender side.
Yeah, I felt like on the defensive side, a lot of these rounds, FPX site anchors were dying way too early into things, and then when FPX was trying to play the Flood retakes, it ended up being more of kind of like a stumble, one player at a time, back into the site. Or when they did go for the set retakes, the post plants were just too strong. I mean, this is the new Pearl, the new cringe post plant map. We saw it in that second half, and quite frankly, your defensive side cannot be letting that spike come down every single time and play into the set retakes, especially when you're playing up against a team like Team Heretics. And now, I think this kind of booms the chances for FPX in this series. They looked great on Abyss in China. I think it was their best map regionally, and now they're going into a strength for Team Heretics, and this series gets really scary if you're rooting for an FPX upset.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, Bind's been great for Heretics, and we knew that this FPX needed this Abyss. It would put them in such a better position. So now they're going to have to do what Heretics did to them on map 1 and try and claw their way back into this series overall. But let's go ahead and hear from the coach of FPX, see what he has to say going into map 2.
Hey guys, we have Nathan D here from FPX, and we have Luna to help out with some translation. That was a very exciting map on Abyss. We're just curious, you guys were able to bring it to an overtime, but why weren't you able to close it out? Can you enlighten us as to what the struggles the players were going through?
其实刚刚是非常激烈的图一的比赛嘛，你们能够成功的拖入到加时，但是并没有成功能够拿下，能不能告诉我们是什么阻碍了你们的脚步呢？
我们下半场的防守可能一些补枪细节没有做好，我们补枪没有做好，加上我们的防 rush 的一些细节没有做好，就导致了我们下半场根本守不住他们。
So at the second half, we are on defense. We did terribly on trade, and we didn't like to defend it well. So that might be explained what happened on the second half.
Well, there's still one map left, so let's see if FPX can manage to make a comeback.
And it seems like FPX identifying those issues. I mean, of course, a tough one for sure, but now they got to reset themselves, get ready for this bind. It's going to be a tall task without a doubt, considering how good Heretics are on this. And I mean, quite frankly, Paper Thin, if you're FPX in this situation, do you go for a bit more of this wackiness? Do you try and be a bit more off the cuff, if you will? Or, I mean, what do you do in this case, right? How do you catch this Heretics team off guard? How do you make them uncomfortable going into map 2?
For me, I think I'd like to see a different comp than what FPX normally runs on Bind. They normally run the Jet Sova, almost exactly the same comp that we just saw from Heretics, actually, except they use a Brim as their smoke. So I'd like to see something different. Raze, yes, I think is borderline necessary on Bind. So I know, and that's what's weird to me, is Life is really good at Raze. He's actually got better stats in Stage 2 on Raze than he does on Jet, but they've been leaning into Jet.
Whoa!
That is very new.
Oh my God, what?
What the hell?
I mean, there's a reason people left the Jet in 2021. I don't know where this comp has come from, though. There are some interesting ideas to look out for. First thing I'm seeing, watch how Life and Ion are going to combo their utility. The audio denial from that Fade and the Haunts combined with the flashes from the Yoru can give a lot of different ideas to set Life up for success. But that Chamber, I think, is the big question mark. Also, we're not playing a Brim, we're playing Omen. This is weird. The one-ways, though, are cool with the Omen. We've seen teams like EG experiment with ideas like that.
Yeah.
There's so much to
But I think, also, too, I think about their attack. They have barely any post-plant stall or nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like they just got the Viper. And
One
that's
Viper
really,
molly.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
They're going to have to fight. They're just going to have to scrap. That's all this is.
But
this
that's
is
what
a
they
scrap.
want to do.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know what? That is a good call. It seems like FPX wants to get down and dirty in the mud. Speaking of two guys who like to get down and dirty in the mud, let's go ahead and send it over to your casters. Here's Mitch and Tom. Go ahead, tell everyone how you like the mud.
Only with you, GB. Only with you. But yeah, I think this is one of those things. A wise man once said that this is an FPS game and you just need to shoot people in the face. So who cares about post-plant utility? You don't need any of that. They've got a little bit, but ultimately they're going for the shoot them in the face. And I like it because do I think they would win with their previous composition? No, I think this would be a map that would go the way of Heretics. So pull something out of the bag, go for an aggressive composition, try and use that individual skill. Autumn is someone who, hey, he can pull out a clove, drop 25 kills, so let's give him a chance over with the chamber, and there you go, pick and out.
A nice start for that defensive side. A little bit of aggression going down on A as well. I'll try to get some control, push up behind them early on. Team Heretics, well, they could be funneled into just one angle, but there's always the potential to take that teleporter and bring it to the other direction. And looking for the flanks as well. It's Boo creeping his way back. He's turned at just the wrong moment, but corrects in time. Life down, and now Woot's clearing out that angle. They found the second and sent him straight into Boo and straight to the Shadow Realm. 4 versus 3 with FPX now looking to pick up the pieces, but the position from Berlin could be everything. He's got 2, and that's the spike with him.
This is such an absurd round. You'd think the defense are on the attack the way that they're pushing. And why are you going to expect the third player to be pushed up? The thing is, he's alone, hiding in his own smoke. And while he gives a little angle over to Woot, Woot's going to land the shot. And look where the remaining defenders now are. They're kind of ready for this.
I have the spike.
Oh, yeah, they've rotated in just in
30
time.
seconds left.
Lysor stuck in the corner. Off bat, he's waiting for the walk through, and it's going to be Woot rounding to take the fight, but the shot is delivered straight to the cranium. Only Autumn. 1 shot left in the golden gun. It's his ghost that's creeping up close and finding them on the spams. The silencer lending a hand, and round the side he goes for the triple kill and the Red Bull clutch to kick off Bind.
Oh, I'd love to see an analytical breakdown of this round because I think someone out there, maybe Steel, would have an aneurysm. It's one of the most aggressive pistols I've ever seen. You had 2 players making a push directly into mid. You had another that took complete showers control, which ended up winning them the round. And then you have this to start it off, where just the patience from Autumn, and he's the one that clutches out as well. If he goes down there, this round is lost. But that's what FPX need to do. They need to be disruptive. They need to be crazy. And they need to almost push Heretics off their game because Heretics are very happy to sit back and be passive. Well, they're not going to be allowed to do that.
No, they're not. Of course, it's the Outlaw that picks up that opening. A strong weapon, by all accounts. And IYoung,
he couldn't have done that with a Marshall against unarmored players.
Nope, not possible, Tom.
No.
You know, he wouldn't have had the confidence, and that's what it's all about, just in case they ball shields.
In the last round.
Yeah, you know, very shy player, I think it's fair to say. But no, for FPX.
Yeah, Australians are known for being very shy.
Yeah, right? Reserved, quiet. Yeah, that's
just like MacMate. He's incredibly shy.
Quiet bloke. Yeah, you'd miss him in a room, a quiet room. Well, FPX, they found themselves a strong advantage to play with. Heretics have next to nothing to work with, and even the Ghost is doing work.
1 enemy remaining.
Yeah. This is just a chance for, well, I was going to say IYoung to farm, but actually Life stole that last kill away. A great start for FPX. Bear in mind, the last map was incredibly close. They lost both pistols, so they were in a rough spot pretty much from the beginning of both. Being able to get off to a great start here. That Outlaw carried through, a judge for Berlin as well. But this is where the rifles come up. Heretics pretty much always win their attack. Even in matches they lose. When they lost to Vitality, they won their attack. 7-5, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, 10-2. Like, they are very good at this side of the map. So if FPX can disrupt them enough, well, I'll be interested to see this comp on the attack, but even still, I think they're planning to try and disrupt this attack side. Wow. Rian's kind of clean today.
Not a bad start, that's for sure. And IYoung not going to last much longer either. They've avoided going into Berlin's awaiting arms, and now they've spotted him too.
He's going to let it hit him. He doesn't want to shoot the judge.
No, and actually it might just work. Now they think there could be a rifle in there. Let's see what we've got. What's behind door number 1? It's a judge, and now it's time to leave that guy alone. You can have all the space you want in lamps, but you got to get to the site to defuse, and that's where the difficulty spawns. Paranoia used to try to keep them back. Again, Rians can see clear as day. The orb going to block him out. Flash goes up top. Benji's around the back, inside the smoke, waiting for them to emerge, and he's caught himself a double, almost a third, but Riens gets ahead of him, and a clean round from those two. That is 2-1 with Heretics on the board, but that's the round we expect FPX to lose as well.
I also don't think you could expect Benji to be there because of the fact that they are actually throwing util into the smoke. So you're sat there going, okay, well, if they're going to put Molotovs on this, why would there be a dude just sat in there? And there was. But just clean openers. And again, we're going to highlight Miniboo because he had a rough first map, but if this guy comes online, I do think it's over, because everybody else, we've seen them thriving. I think Rians especially, Woot was great in the first map. This is where things get maybe even more exciting, as he's upgraded and now has an operator.
Yes, no shields, you'll notice. This is a glass cannon attempt to get aggressive early on, has the TP to fall back on, getting a little greedy, going around the corners, and there's Boo waiting for him with the iPad out. Wasn't quite expecting that aggressive of a peek, and now the punish is being delivered.
Sorry guys, I didn't expect him to swing all the way down mid without checking one side. Sorry, I wasn't aware of it. They're going to try and immediately pivot to the other side of the map, but look who's there again. Autumn playing this rotational operator, and he's got Life alongside him. A lot of support, and now 2 men down.
The dominoes have started to topple at this point. For FPX, everything is working out. Another pick as Rians comes out of the smoke, and the rest of the squad still sat up in hookah. Now they fall back, looking to take it the other direction, and perhaps they'll have a 2v2 on offer. You have some aggression.
Yeah, it's just where it is, though. This is a filthy crossfire. I think they're just going to save, though. This is just holding on to guns. Yeah, I was about to say, if they go all the way around, they're geniuses. But at this stage, the economy will be good enough if they hold on to these guns, make sure Boo gets another one in the next round. So it's going to be an immediate response from FPX. And as said, like what they're currently doing, so ridiculously disruptive. Like, again, you have to be wary wherever you go. The Autumn could have peeked mid, TP back, immediately rotated to the other side of the map, and could be facing you there as well. And that's exactly what happened in this round. He becomes even just a distraction in the late game because you're focusing on that operator. And then, do you think Life's going to hide? No, Life's going to swing. And well, Berlin is looking to even remove the guns, but eventually they will be allowed to save, and for Heretics, pretty important.
Yeah, based on what I've seen even just in this series, Tom, I don't think Life's going to hide. This guy is, he's unhinged to say the least, and I think you can say the same for Autumn at mid-push. You know, the idea makes sense. If there's a player on the left, they'll have to swing out wide. So it's a timing, it's a risk you're taking. But the fact that you have that TP, if things go wrong, they miss a shot, you're already out of there.
That's what this comp is. It's a risk. It is a bunch of risks. But that's the thing. As I said, I think if you try and play regular, to the book, standard Valorant, beating them on this map is incredibly difficult. Already, Thrash going to be utilized and straight through the TP, but they're met with Benji. 3 disrupted. And wow, swings and roundabouts. Sometimes the aggression works, sometimes you get triple sprayed down.
Yeah. The fact that these players turn so quickly, the doors open, and, well, they seem to close on the round, at least, with FPX having an operator, Lysor. I'm not sure that they're going to want to commit these weapons to it. You look at FPX, post-plant utility doesn't really exist, barring the snakebite, but for Team Heretics, that's not quite the case. They've got their snakebite, they've got their molly, they've got Riens, and I think they know the mosh pit was already used, but even the flash to re-execute out for a fight. The seize as well from Woot. It's not one that I'd expect a big commitment from, especially with now they've cleared the site. They've seen that it's most likely post-plant setups. These weapons may just be more valuable carried through for future rounds, although, I mean, Lysor is very aggressive. He wants to make it costly for Heretics and at least drop a few bodies. As he fails, Autumn's out.
Yeah, I think Autumn always had the plan, unless his teammate got a couple of kills to just fade away. Everything else they can repurchase. So it's not the end of the world. Heretics do well to weather the storm this time. And again, it's another round where contact is made towards Hookah, the response from FPX is to 3-man TP, which is a bit mental. And well, I saw all the assists come through, and I was like, how has Boo got 3 assists? That is a Stim Beacon triple assist.
Nice, very good feel.
It's not something you're going to see every single day. And while Benji does incredibly well in that scenario. Again, though, the only thing that would worry me for FPX, honestly, is if they start shying away. Because this comp, if you play passive, sucks.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is not a passive comp. And that's the problem. If things don't work out, that's often going to be what you do, is switch it up, change your pace. We saw that in the last round. Now Autumn being dropped is traded out for life. Got an aggressive out on B long, at least keeping a foothold for this site that isn't just deep. And yeah, I was kind of expecting him to fall back at this point, at least maintain the control. But this guy, I should have learned my lesson. I thought I did earlier. He always keeps going. He's going back out. No, he's not.
He's thinking about it. He's going to get revealed.
Okay, he's back.
He has his ult as well, though. So there's always a chance to double dip, especially with space being taken now. You know, yeah, every angle's being checked before they attempt anything. Aggressive control into the showers means that they don't really have to worry too much about the TP. It's a position that they've already been caught once with Berlin, but Ayung's now on spot. Iso trying to just see if he can get any information, because at least then he'd be able to slow them down.
30 seconds left.
Well, Aziz hasn't quite caught in the flash on left, and they even caught Life, I think. They want to try to back out, but Mollies are covering them. Orbital Strike comes in, sectioned off by Team Heretics, put in a box. Life at least able to find a void. How is that correction landed? At least Benji falls. Life's work is not for nothing. In fact, it seems like the advantage will be converted into a round win for FPX. 4-2. And I honestly, watching Life play this game is just perplexing. I don't know how he's getting away with so much in these aggressive positions.
Again, it's something that we're looking at from a side where we can see everything. Just imagine what it's like from Heretics' point of view, where a guy just goes blasting straight through the smoke, taking insanely aggressive fights, and again, he's the reason they win the round. Like, he is fully the reason. Like, the re-aggression to start with, to put things back even after Autumn goes down, it's the second prong. Like, you're not expecting someone to go running out, but it's just this shot onto Boo, which I feel like it has been Boo just on the wrong end of a lot of that, and then Ayung actually catching someone off the back of his own utility as well. The 4-2. Defensive side starting to build a lead, and I like the fact that Heretics are taking a very early pause here.
The best part is when Ayung threw that reveal, there was probably the thought that if Life can just hold on a second, it'll help him get a kill, and instead he just runs through the smoke and takes 2 blind. So, you know, when you've got a player like that, I mean, you know, you got to let him off the leash, and that's certainly what they're doing on FPX. Remember, one of the main factors of success for this side so far has been Autumn, able to find those early picks. This round started out with Heretics picking him, taking him down, but the response was immediate from Life on B long. He got aggressive, they didn't punish that, and then they lived to regret it.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of what Heretics, similarly in the last map, like, they're going to have prepped for Abyss because they knew what was coming. They knew that it was likely to be picked by FPX. They knew that they play this aggressive game. If they prep for this, they have somehow snuck into their opponent's scrims, because I don't think there's a way you could have seen this coming. And that's why I think taking an early pause, giving Neilzinho an opportunity to sort of go, okay, they're trying to push everything. I thought for the most part they were going to try and double up, but I guess the idea is maybe for Miniboo just to try and sell some info. Yeah, and he's not looking to fight anything. He knows there's going to be aggressive plays.
I remember we had it in the last round as well, but no chance to use it in the chaos. Miniboo's got the showstopper ready to work with, but Autumn picked off in the last round. He'll take 2 first bloods in this one to make up for it. That is a devastating start. And now that showstopper, that's just an afterthought. Walking through the Viper utility. Oh, the timing. The judge still comes back for 1. And well, a 5 versus 1 emerges. Good luck and condolences for the round to Benji Fishy.
Oh, it's going to have to be an insane 1v5. They know exactly where he is. Pop flashes and, well, we talk about how aggressive this team can be, but both players falling back. They want to try and group back up with Autumn, and he's not falling back, but honestly, with what he's done in this round so far, I can't really blame him. A collap to start off the round. The aggression that this man is pulling out, well, I'd say it's about 90-odd% successful.
Yep, and the worst part about it is you're seeing him just with global control. At the start of the round, you might as well roll a dice to figure out where the hell he's going to be. Peeking out, whether it's in hookah, whether it's on long. Now we're probably going to see B long. I mean, there's nowhere that you can feel safe, and they did the best thing they could, double swinging the angle. I think at this point, Heretics have got to just, if you're going to peek, Dizzy has to go round first. Otherwise, you're dead. Prowler, something has to reveal that, or you're risking 2 players dying to 1 bullet.
That's the thing. They do have the utility to be able to clear out an operator. Like, you've got yourself a Fade and a Gecko, and you've got a Boombot. Like, I think this round they did, or the last round, sorry, they put the Boombot through to try and catch him pushing B mid, but it didn't matter. He wasn't there, and then they weren't prepared to try and fight him over on that A site. Miniboo still has his ultimate for this round, but you look at what's on offer. I don't know if they'll want to use it, especially with where Berlin is again. You talk about that operator. I think the judge is just as scary.
Especially in Berlin's hands with what we saw previously, and when you've got the Viper Util decaying you down. Here he is with a chance, but Woot's the one to shut him out. Now an opportunity for Heretics, even with the weaker weapons, if they can keep these trades up, and they're doing exactly that. 3 versus 2, and some weapons to be recovered with a plant coming in now. And Wingman online for the late round. Autumn's on the flank, the long way around with Lysor inside that smoke in spawn. It's going to be a tough split. They have to win their individual fights.
Is he going to get revealed? I don't think he was. The Wingman didn't quite reach. Boo has gone looking, but hasn't seen anything back towards long. If he goes to swing this again, he's going to be met with either a headhunter or an operator. In fact, he might not even check. It's going to be a free kill, but they've already managed to clear out Lysor. Around looking all but over, as him getting into some of these closer range positions is going to be impossible, and Rian's even there to close it out once again. A low purchase and a victory alongside it for Heretics, as they will get their 3rd onto the board.
Yeah, a good start from Wood as well. The fact that he picks off Berlin before the damage can be done, I think he would have had a relatively easy time finding the first, and then, well, you're running through a Viper or close range against a Judge. It's not going to be a very pretty scenario, but the reveal up top was timed perfectly to at least land them that opening. From there, the round cascades with the trades. FPX, though, it's little more than a bump in the road. 4 ultimates online, rifle still there with credits for the next. They have a chance to continue this fight.
They actually have a 3-man setup ready and waiting. Immediately getting rid of the Thrash, and life just keeps going. 2 kills already. Boo tagged up a bit, but he's lost some health himself. Not going to overface this. I feel like they were so ready for them to try and use the Thrash. They literally put a firing squad to deny it, and then took 2 kills.
Well, that's it. As soon as the Thrash is used, you know they're all going to be funneling through that choke point. But life, time and time again, just surprising us with the individual skill. Berlin dropped in life low, but the trade is quick from Young. It's been so clean on these ranged fights, with Heretics sent back the other direction, moving towards bathroom. 2 versus 4. And again,
look at the push-up as well. Like, they don't have to worry about B just because of where Autumn is. Like, he's so far up at this stage that unless they're going to go through the spawn, and even still, if they don't step or hear them, Ion perfectly placed, but loses the battle. Still, though, it allows 2 players to be here, but you have to bear in mind how low life currently is.
Autumn spot allowed him to keep B long control. Now, though, he's abandoned that trap to move for the flank. Lysor does well, landing that one, but Benji's got some fight left in him. 50 HP, and the shot through the box.
I think he saw his leg.
Saw the leg.
He must have seen
it wasn't a game of battleships, no. He had a radar this time. 6-3, though. FPX find the round in extraordinary fashion.
Yeah, it always seems to come down to these late round clutch scenarios, but hey, you put Autumn in those positions and he's going to win it. I think good work as well from Benji to at least make this one look competitive, because I feel like all the way through they had so much space, so much of the read on that defensive side, but Yeah, I did say it. From Benji's POV, it looked crazy. From his POV, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I'd be more surprised if he missed.
I'd be surprised if he misses any of his shots from what I've seen so far. Even the collapse landing. Autumn's been very impressive. This chamber's working out. The disruptive play has put Heretics on the back foot a number of times. This time, Lurk sent out by Benji towards A. Pressure applied on B. They'll claim the orb and look for some space. Weaker weapons in part. Woot on a classic. Sheriff's in play for Boo and Benji. It's the rifles on Mini Boo and Rienz that have to do the heavy lifting, and instead... Oh, okay. There's one missed shot. It's remarkable. Now, if anyone peeks him here, I'm not sure they'll be quite as lucky.
It is got to be a little bit more careful. No get out of jail free card this time. I think he was a bit lucky that the player he faced off against was the player that only had a classic. Otherwise, that could have got dangerous. Again, still no escape, and he is going to be connected on by every single PC utility. Miniboo has managed to catch one, but there is an immediate swing and counter. It was an ult or two invested by the side of Heretics, but you wouldn't think it.
No, you really wouldn't. I mean, the decay that came in, though, from, I believe it was iYoung dropping the Nightfall.
Yeah.
Putting them in a position where everyone was low up.
It was both.
Yeah. Miniboo and Co were down to like 1 HP, and you saw everyone on the side of FPX just spraying at the bodies here. Nice and easy. It was one bullet to take him down, one for the player in the smoke, and then a headshot for Woot. Didn't quite matter either way. 7-3. A big lead now in the books for FPX, and the half isn't over yet.
As said, that every single time we've seen them play, even going back to G2 at Masters, they won their attack. They are not winning their attack, so they've already broken what has been a running streak for the side of Heretics. Finally, they've managed to shut out Autumn, but he's not alone. There are more players there, one lurking within the poison orb, but it's only going to be the 1-for-1. Berlin, he's revealed his position as well. And although there is a player looking to come in from behind, Heretics this time are going to get the afterplant with an advantage.
Ooh, style points for that one. Nice clear with the trade potential. Yeah, Heretics advantage to play with. Got it locked in. But last time that we saw Autumn picked off, it was Life to step up for a massive round. We'll see if it's going to be the same here. The flash to support the initial push through. He's gone around the long way, fighting it for control over Lamps, and he's found it. At least to begin, things are going well. No flashes left, though. Leaves the dry peaks in Berlin with a 1 versus 2 after his initial. Already starting to defuse, looking to get it half, but Molly comes in. Smoke soon to fade as well. He's peeking out on the side of it, but they know he's not defusing. And there's no need for them to swing, although Rienz obliges eventually. There's another round on the board for the attacking side. No matter what, they won't be keeping their streak of winning their attack, but there's at least a chance to make it close.
Yeah, and there are definitely arguments that like running a chamber is going to be a lot easier on that defense. We'll see how it's utilized by Autumn in the next half, but I do think it's important for Heretics to get this final round, otherwise a pistol could put them in a pretty awkward spot going into the next half. I really like the post plants though from Heretics. Once they're able to get there, they've looked really good. Like they're able to have the really late mollies coming in from Boo, just happy to sit back while everybody else is disruptive. The problem though has been getting there. And well, they have a showstopper and then a Viper's Pit, so if they do get there, I think it could be ropes for FPX.
Yeah, it'll be very tough to get back into a site like that with a pit down, and it might be tough to keep them out with the showstopper. Boo bypass that utility, and the Seas has actually caught iYoung. He could be in a lot of trouble here with Miniboo going up and over. The shot doesn't land from the showstopper, nor does it from the rifle. iYoung still kicking on the site, moving back to clear Boo, who luckily wins the fight. Some breath still for Team Heretics, and the flash in. Life is going for another big play, but only the one to be found.
That keeps things even. Plant yet to happen, so you can see the doubt. Autumn's actually going to go back towards the B site. Still has his trap available, so he knows that they haven't made it towards Hookah just yet. And actually just this patience from the side of Heretics has at least made the defense slightly weaker.
It's thinned out the numbers for sure, but Berlin's not looking weak. What a shot with Boo down. The spike retrieved. Rienz is going to try to get this one planted. No wingman, though. He has to do it himself. And the TP out. Beautiful from Berlin. Even as the ultimate to use just to cause that little bit of paranoia for Rienz. And in fact, the ult is used straight towards the spawn, so now Rienz has no idea where this opponent could be, and Autumn's a mystery as well. Does manage to get the plant down in the chaos though, not deterred, but shot in the head from up in heaven. Berlin caught him jumping over the box. That's 8 rounds locked in at halftime for FPX.
Slow it down. I want to see that shot again. That was just disgusting from Berlin. A fantastic round from him individually and a fantastic half from FPX. As said, even if like when Vitality were able to beat Heretics on this map, it came down to a poorer defense for the side of Heretics. They were not able to beat them on their attack. Well, that's exactly what FPX have done. They've managed to quell them, and well, thank you for the replay. Absolutely gorgeous stuff.
Well, Tom, okay, good. That's our first half, 8-4 for FPX. Now, it's time to give them a little break between the half. We're about to jump off, but we'll be back with half number 2 very soon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You can double put John neck in the flow. Ain't no seeker but still smart to your bed. Kick it, lick it, jerk it up to cop bob. Shut a think away, my girls out there. 그냥 달라 pretty cheeks like this. I'm a dick girl, mwah. Bitch in your top vibe. 짜잘하게 바빠, I stole it. 유행은 내일 바뀌어, 저러진 얼마. 사실은 바른 you take butter, but 이미 누구와 imitation. You always better go back up. Like Balenciaga got that. Fake copy like that. 현실은 그렇지 않대. They wanna be like that.
Like Balenciaga got that. Fake copy like that. 현실은 그렇지 않대. They wanna be like that.
They wanna be like that. They wanna be like that. They wanna be like that. They wanna be like that. They wanna be like that. They wanna be like that. They wanna be like.
And we're back 8-4 when we left you. Team Heretics struggling on the attack side, which is a rare sight for us, but they're one map up. All they've got to do is recover this on the defense, Tom. But this composition from FPX, yes, we'll talk about the chamber defensively and how strong it can be. We saw it, right? Autumn's opening picks from posting up and TPing out. It will be harder to make that work here on the attack.
For sure, but I think that's where you're now going to look to players like Life to sort of, well, I don't want to say pick up the slack like he was performing badly. He was very, very good at the first, but that's where you kind of look to him. And as I said, for Heretics, this probably has been their weaker of the two sides. So it's also going to be their own fundamentals. Can they turn this back? I think with both Woot and Miniboo being a little bit quieter, looking for a bit more from Rienz after his first map performance, a pistol definitely wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, you know, it's not even that they're being quiet, it's that their opponents are being so loud. They're just drowning them out. Like, so many of these fights, they just can't get anything done in because, to be honest, it's tough to play against FPX. From what I'm seeing here, this is just a chaotic squad that will put you on the back foot. They're doing something you're not used to. And while those adjustments have to be made on the fly, Heretics, 4 rounds on the board. This pistol carries a fair bit of weight for them. If it goes to FPX, they're going to struggle to get back into this half, and we may be going all the way to Lotus.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about unorthodox playstyles, Lotus with a triple controller is something that maybe, I guess Heretics, I think, have played it before, so they might be prepared for it, but that doesn't make it any easier. Here we go, though. Execution into the site. A couple of players ready and waiting. It looks like there's going to be an attempt from Woot to maybe try and deny the plant. He's around the edge, but unfortunately the Haunt doesn't find anything.
Are they thinking about, yeah, they're TPing, they're going back. Autumn was left lurking outside B, heard the rotations. There's one player up close, Benji, but he's tagged down to 24. A flash on backside could get him out of dodge, but Berlin's already on him. The push from Rienz, it was at least covered for a moment by the Viper wall, but now he's all alone, doing the damage, and at least dropping a few, giving Woot a chance. Lysor shuts him down, and Boo has somehow allowed Life to thread the needle. Unbeknownst to him, Boo's right behind him. This is a pantomime with a free kill, although it came a little close. Just the 1v1 left with Lysor's position unknown.
Oh, he's right above as well. Just looking for that fight for the fourth. A fantastic pistol round from him, and as said, it would have been a welcome gift for the side of Heretics to be able to take that over the line. Again, though, you just see these rounds where they go for these late rotations. I love the thought process of FPX. Is like, you think you know what we're doing. You think after we shoot your horn deep within the site, we throw our utility in, you think that you're in our heads, and in fact, the quick switch up, Benji left in no man's land, and sure, again, Rienz, he did what he could. It was bullets that held him back. It's not enough.
No, it wasn't. And that pistol going the other way now for Heretics is tough. They're 9-4 down on this map, one that we hailed as somewhere they should be able to take it across the line. We said that FPX need to win the first map because surely they can't take it in the last two, but here we are. Rienz dropped to start this one off, and it's only pistols for Heretics. No big investment. They're saving their cash for the next, but a 10-4 lead, if that's where we end up, with potential economic benefits there for the attackers as well, this will be a very tough position to climb back from. And the way they're pushing and pulling so far, pistol was fantastic, and look what they've done here. Fake on A, move back to B, and then rotate back to the A side. It's wide open.
As you said, though, like looking at this map on paper, like this was a map that, okay, they lost the last time, 14-12 in overtime to Vitality, a team that needed to win to qualify for Champions, whereas Heretics were basically already qualified because of the points that they have. So, and we were talking about burnout and all these excuses. We had so many different things when it came to Heretics as to why they didn't win that match. Maybe, in many cases, not giving Vitality the credit they deserve. Even still, that was a 14-12 loss. Right now, FPX, you remove all of those excuses from Heretics. They got a bit of a break. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like it's a massive one, but the same break that FPX got. And right now, on Bind, they are putting themselves into a considerable lead. 10-4, guaranteed. There's nothing that can be done in this round. The only thing will be whether or not there's any orbs or any cost. And of course, for Ayoung, he only has a pistol. Even going down isn't that much of a problem. He wants the extra orbs to try and get closer to his ult. Benji will take exactly the same thing, and the rest of the team, the ones with weaponry, are just going to fade out of there, and everyone else dying to the spike.
10-4. The scoreline we expected. A strong position from FPX with so many weapons saved over. And for Team Heretics, this needs to be a flawless
The
climb.
score we expected after 9-4.
Well, yeah, not at the start. I'm casting it back to...
What script are you reading
You know,
from?
when I saw Bind, Tom, remember I said to you backstage, 10-4 FPX. I can see it happening. I don't know anything that's going to happen after that. But 10-4, I'm certain. Now, for FPX, yeah, they're expected to win that last round. Is that better?
Okay, yeah.
And then they've got their economy built up as a result of these weapons being saved. Sure, there's some weaknesses. You've got a Guardian, which has not been a weakness if it's in Ayoung's hands, and then Berlin on a Spectre. But for the most part, they're able to go blow for blow with Heretics in this round. And if Heretics don't find this, well, they're going to have to start drafting up that anti-triple controller setup.
Yeah, I hope they already had it drafted, because I think they played them on it before.
Or we'll have questions about Neil Zinho's nomination.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, well deserved. His coach in EMEA has been fantastic throughout the year, but it's safe to say that this matchup, even last time they played, as I said, they won 17-15 to beat this squad. Ended up making a run to the final and played the other team who beat FPX. I think they've been, as I said, clinically underrated. And once again, showing why this is a team to fear in the group of death. For now, though, 35 seconds coming up on the clock. Pressure going to be put on to Benji, but he has support, or had support. Now it's all on him, but the flashes are just leaving him in a position to fight. Rienz is doing an amazing job on the backside again.
And after the first kills as well, Snakebite went down. Berlin swings in, thinking his teammates are with them, but they've got to wait just a little moment. 10-5, locked in that round, an essential victory for the side of Heretics. Like I said, I mean, I don't find that to be a massively weak round for FPX. They certainly still had a lot of weapons to work with, a lot of punch to pack. But this next round, I think, will be a little bit different. I'm seeing Autumn again going for the glass cannon, and that was most certainly the turning point of the last half. He was getting so much value out of that operator.
But do you agree with it on the attack?
That's the thing. It's so much more difficult. In fact, if you look at every opening duel he had, it was reliant on him putting down his trap, him posting on an angle they couldn't be on just yet, or maybe just peeking out, and then just waiting. And they have to push you because they're the attackers. They have to attack. Now, that's not quite the same. And catching Heretics out will be a big difficulty, I think.
I think as well, when you're up against a composition that is double initiator, double smokes, like you don't really need to be pushing. You don't need to be taking mass amounts of aggressive control that hasn't already been cleared by some sort of piece of utility. So I think, yeah, sure, maybe the Heretics make this decision to go, okay, they've taken a pause, let's try and take some space, let's try and battle with them a little bit. But when you have yourself all of that utility, all the finances behind you and Thrash, if you're doing that without any utility behind it, then you deserve to get killed by Autumn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they can also see the credits, and at this point, you know that there's a chance Autumn does that same
after the last
shenanigans and stuff. Yeah. The last time you looked and went, nah, he probably won't go for the op. He couldn't get shields. And then collateral. Well, 10-5 we go. FPX still up well above their opponents. Miniboo getting confident, getting aggressive, and getting shut down early on. FPX have found an easy opening duel. You talked about no need to push, Tom. Well, it looks like Heretics missed the memo.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea. Like, the supportive utility was there, but it's definitely put them in an awkward spot. As I said, after a pause, a lot of teams will take a gamble, but when you're 10-5 down, that gamble hasn't paid off, and it's not getting any better.
And with Rian's down as well, big clutch player for the squad. A lot of utility that's going to help you to get back into a site. There's not a lot to hope for, except Woot finding some semblance of hope with a quick pick. Clearing out the space towards Bath, finding one player. He knows that's probably an isolated duel, one he's happy to take.
Okay.
And even with the decay, with the vulnerability, he is still able to win that duel. We're back to a 3v3. It's winnable for Heretics, and the flank hasn't yet been spotted from Benji Fishy.
Boo, trying to get something. The steps will have been heard, and the TP has been removed, but they're still wary of where life is going. In fact, he's going all the way around the back. He's in their spawn. Autumn picks off Benji. This now becomes so much more awkward because that player up above is going to leave them in disarray, but Woot is still going, still thriving, still trying to find anything that he can, with Autumn just buying as much time as possible, just baiting them as much as he can, and they're only just getting onto that defuse. He needs to try and find the shot. Is there going to be time for it? Is the question. There will be.
Wow. Heretics have done one hell of a job getting back into that one. I think Autumn going out with the classic, he thought he could buy a little bit of time, but they were swinging wide looking for the fight. This squad started it out with confidence, getting aggressive, and it didn't work out, but the recovery is there. Now they're sat with rifles, they're sat with Thrash, and this puts FPX in a really rough spot with barely anything to work with. And Woot's the man that pulls them out of this abyss that they were in. The fact that they're not only able to find the first, but he goes back to Bath, takes a fight inside a snake bite against a player who knows he's there, and still wins it.
I think also just the confidence he had in Boo, because if he lets go, this becomes a much closer round. Like, you hear a second tap and life doesn't have to swing, but it forced him into a position where eventually there was a lot of time left on that clock. This time, though, with Heretics slowly climbing, it's only going to be pistols. Sure, you got that Headhunter available, and they're going to clear control to collect up the orbs. They're putting it onto life, which is interesting because he is not even remotely close to his ultimate.
Time to jump.
Oh, I guess you're wanting to farm it up early. Strange, I guess. You can see like a Nightfall for next round, something like that, especially with the death. But, well, maybe they just know that Young's got a weapon that he can tap someone in the head with. He's probably going to get his ult off of it. Fair play. Got to have faith in your teammates. For Heretics, there are a few risks here playing up close, but there's always a second player doubled up on it. Miniboo and Woot as an example, but Woot's dropped right off rip. Miniboo, though, able to get it done. This is what we're talking about, having that second man to provide that cover to trade it out. They don't want to lose too many more players. Keeping the economy healthy early on is a big factor, and Spike's gone the other direction. Pressure's on for Benji.
The problem is they haven't got as far forward as they probably would have liked. He's going to wait, almost play the bait, just hold on while they fight his teammates. It's all too easy for Benji. Oh, now for Lysor, if anything, he just needs to make sure he dies. Not wanting to just hold on to a pistol for the next round. He's going to go swinging. Already has the ult, so it's not even going to be for the orbs in the end. Heretics have brought this back into contention. 10-7. Not too far away now, and this is where you kind of expect for FPX to have more of a response.
And again, ult dedication. You get a Nightfall for FPX right now, but I mean, a relatively big factor, honestly, in a round like this. 10-7, economy's on the line. Autumn's going in for another glass cannon. They're so willing to play without those shields. I mean, they rarely get to fire a bullet back at them, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. But 3 rounds in the difference. Heretics on the road to recovery. And the defensive side, well, a little bit of aggression to go down. Miniboo sends through the boom bot. It finds nothing. And on the back of it, I expected aggression. If it was life, you'd see aggression. But they backed off.
Benji will be revealed, but he has support. And it's actually the spam through the orb that ends up taking down Life. That's not the man you wanted to lose early on in this round. Because as said, like, you look at the other side, what have you now got? You've lost your Star Duelist. You have a double controller, single initiator, and a chamber. Like, this is not a space-taking composition if you lose the Yoru in the early stages of the round.
And not just that, for the round that's in it, economy on the line. Heretics about to build up a massive lead in terms of eco if they can avoid losing too many. This is a round that FPX don't want to be pulling any punches, and losing one of their big entries is definitely going to hurt them. Benji not going for the orb. Could have been Viper's Pit online, but he knows that risk not worth it at all. Thrash sent in, and Berlin's already pushed way too far forward. Perfect timing from Rienz on the ultimate. The snake bite keeping them back, and as they attempt to fade through the orb, Rienz gets another blind through the smoke. The spike recovered by Lysor, soon to be gifted to Heretics by the looks of things, but the op comes in, the shot fired, lands nothing, and now they'll be much more cautious. In fact, the molly gets him. Oh, it's a disaster. 30 HP for Lysor. He's at least got 2, but 8 seconds left. Spike to be planted, players to be dropped, and even saving is impossible. Miniboo's got him sectioned in.
God, a gorgeous interplay. That was the combination of the 2 players of Rienz and Benji. Like, just whether the orb was going up to just keep everybody low as they tried to run in. They also had the snake bite, the cover that was there when the ultimate was being used to make sure that they couldn't properly close him down. Like, it was just perfect from these 2. And okay, that was the only risk, was when Berlin got through, but Rienz was just about quick enough. And you can see, just combining their utility, working as a team. And again, I said Rienz had been a little bit quieter in that first half. He is now 16-12. He is climbing up the board and putting them just 2 rounds away after what was looking commanding. Like, this was, again, I think it was both pistols going the way of FPX this time. Again, a very good first half where they ended with a pretty hefty lead, getting that second pistol over the line, and now they've lost 4 rounds in a row, and I think we're starting to see the holes in where this comp is just not as good on the attack.
But that's it. They really need to find a solution there, and I'm not sure that's an easy solution to find. Like, 4 rounds in a row, it's not the end of the world. We've seen so many teams recover, and a lot of the times that's going to be necessary. You lose the 4 as you're learning. What are your opponents doing? How can you adapt to it? What are the gaps in your attack? But for FPX, those gaps are hard to plug with limited utility. I need to see Life not going down early round, and I'm not sure I can blame him for it.
You need to see Autumn go for a glass cannon rifle? It's because he's getting tour de force if he gets 1 orb, but it's definitely it's a risk that if he just dies, okay, he sold it. I thought he was. I kind of.
You got the golden gun, man. You go Headhunter alongside shields and then go for the orb. Well, then you get 1 kill. You've got a big gun, a big sniper. Makes a bit more sense.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted him to do it.
I didn't, so I'm quite happy with where we've ended up here.
I'm rolling with the chaos. Chaos is where they've succeeded. Chaos is where they will win. Now, they've got a few ults for this one. Young, Guardian. He's going to be better in this round.
I actually think this is over then for Heretics, to be honest. I don't care about Autumn's ultimate. It's Young's Guardian. 3 headshots is a minimum. He might get 4. We'll see.
Yeah, the only thing that will stop him is if it's through a wall.
Yes.
Then he'll only take down maybe 1 player.
If Lysor uses the Viper's Pit while Young has a Guardian, he's trolling. Now, you need to give him the long-range angles. Let him just headshot. But no, for real, at this point, Heretics, A-site, feeling a bit of pressure. They're just going to fall back. They're going to concede the control. That could get Pit down for FPX and give them a real chance to fight for this round.
Oh, Young is spamming. Whoop has somehow managed to dodge every single bullet. There goes that Viper's Pit, but with an immediate response. Both Nightfalls thrown in. everything being placed into this round by both teams, but they have been able to buy quite a bit of time. Miniboo playing a game with Chicken, Berlin on the other side, and while Miniboo comes out on top, they now have to deal with this man. He goes for a little bit more. They've also lost the pit. This is a bigger problem now. Life has at least been able to recover one, but it's left onto Ayung, and there's a counter pit in play. He has to make a play into it, and they're watching for this. They're ready for this, but he managed to bypass them. It didn't matter in the end. Benji was waiting, holding that line. And now the difference down to just one. And as I said, Mitch, they committed quite a lot into that round.
Well, yeah, they committed a hell of a lot. Getting themselves in, counter Nightfall, pit that then got counter pitted as well. I mean, this is big investment from FPX. And then we look at this round as well. The fact that their economy was put in. The next round we'll see light shields and rifles for them as well. How Miniboo gets the second, I don't know. And a quick trade from Rienz drops the pit. At that point, the round is lost. I think that's the defining fight. And as well as that, Miniboo was like 20 HP, pushing through lamps for the first kill he got. Just crouched waiting. A ballsy play. And certainly fair to say that, you know, we started this out by talking about his confidence levels. I don't think that's an issue right now. He seems to have found his groove.
He's getting back into it at least. And as I said, that was always going to be dangerous. A streak of rounds, and this would be both maps now, where the FPX have found themselves in pretty hefty advantages, and they are starting to slip in a similar way. It will be a crushing way to go into that lower bracket, and of course have to face off against Sentinels. I don't think there'll be many teams that will have had to be eliminated from 2 tournaments only playing against Masters finalists. That would be the brutal way to go out. Life, though. Here is that ult, something they were looking for, but there are multiple players ready and waiting. The utility is so good, though. It's fantastic to support him.
And Ayung with another. Yeah, Rienz had thrown his own bit of util out, the Dizzy to try to get space, but he's denied it. Boo and Woot left with a tough decision. Do they go for this? They've got plenty of cash, so I see no reason why not, but it'll be hard to find it. Okay, player in the corner, but Autumn's clean on the first shot, and the flash leaves Boo in the corner. Autumn can post up, and that's where he's found most of his success in this series. 11-9 now for FPX. They found a little bit of a recovery. This could have been disastrous as well with their credits down to the last, but, well, they're back on the board.
You can see why they want that dimensional drift so bad. Because when Life has that, he uses it to basically pinpoint where the paranoia needs to go, has his own pop flash to leave the players at the back of the site completely blind, and then sticks the landing with it. And that's, there's so much interplay that they can have around that ultimate. The look now will be, what do they do when it's not there? And I actually think that, okay, sure, for Heretics, I understand where there's a pause. You won 5 rounds in a row, you finally lose one, you're 2 away from this map slipping away. But I actually think FPX would have been really happy to have a pause here as well. Because you're now going to sit there and go, okay, we used the ultimates that we knew would work. We were literally farming orbs when there was 1 orb on Life, and I don't know how many, it was 6 or 7 on a teammate.
Yeah.
And now, well, we don't have that. What are we going to do instead? Sure, we got Tour de Force. We got Berlin from the shadows, which I'll be honest, on Berlin I actually think could be impactful. He's a bit crazy sometimes. And well, Heretics are more looking just to get back into the swing of things as they were over the last few rounds, because the 5-round streak is pretty clean. I don't think there were too many scenarios where it looked like FPX were even going to challenge them at all.
No, those streak of rounds, if they can replicate it, that's what they're after. Maybe FPX have that response. Like we said, Life uses ultimate. This is a game changer in that round, but you're not going to have that online for quite a while. Now, though, we look at Autumn. I believe he's activated his ult before barriers have gone up.
You want to
Tour de Force, he challenges them to a game and see if they do want to play. Certainly early on, no form of aggression, and the Dizzy just reveals a player's outside the site, and with the ult in play, you do not want to go checking who it is.
Straight away. One of the TPs has had to be used just to get out of the seas. I think they are trying to deny Life farming up those orbs. We've seen the singular buy round they've managed to win come off the back of his ultimate. And again, 3 players ready and waiting. It's allowed by the aggressive position over in Hookah that's being held. And now Boo, well, he's going to be under pressure. Another double ping, and well, Woot's caught.
Always seems to be the place they get curious is exactly where Autumn is. Rienne's able to trade, but the disadvantage remains for the side of Heretics. And although Rienne's finds another, we're in the same boat.
Showstopper.
Mini Boo, showstopper, not going to heaven though. Needs to pull his rifle out pretty soon because there's a peek coming in from Young, getting aggressive, and it was not expected with the tour de force landing a shot. It's 12 for FPX. 3 chances to close this out. The same position Heretics were in on the last map.
Yeah. No, we are seeing a lot of similarities, but this time the streak ended a little bit earlier, and FPX now in that driver's seat. And I like a lot of the interplay in this round. Firstly, just aggressive plays, like when the Haunt goes up, swinging off the back of it. You know that somebody's going to try and shoot that to not reveal the position. The patience of Autumn, this was the value of having him on that operator. That was what they were looking for the entire time. When space is made, re-aggression coming in, being caught, and the fact that he gets the last player as well. Ultimates still in a decent spot though for Heretics. They could respond.
Oh, they could, but Boo's down to start this one off. It's not looking pretty. Life even finds another Lysor, trading out some of the disadvantages, but Benji's done well. His 2 picks puts it back to neck and neck. And now an opportunity with the spike dropped right under their nose for FPX. Look, if there was any 2 players you wanted to put in the clutch position, you probably would choose these guys. Autumn and Life have been very impressive, having to dodge the Thrash and just about managing the TP. Although he gets detained, he's at least safe around the corner. They get to reset, and Thrash won't be recovered.
He's been caught by absolutely everything over the last couple of rounds, but he will be able to hold on.
Here.
It's unfortunate because they actually cleared the B site, but just didn't realize that singular kill on Taboo was enough. Ran the spike into A. And of course for Heretics, they're not just sitting pretty. They're going to go walkabouts, going to go looking to see if they can reposition. Now taking the TP would actually find an open site. The timing not working out great for the side of Heretics, and they're going to have to take the long road all the way back around. Now it might not be expected though for them to have pushed this far up so soon. The problem is, I think they're a little bit worried about full sprinting just in case someone still lurked in mid.
Well, I mean, conventionally speaking, this is where players will have already started the rotate. I think that's what FPX are playing for, that Team Heretics would be coming through the spawn. Maybe in their minds they've already stepped onto the site. Little do they know it is the long play, but with the positions FPX are manning, they don't really have to worry about that. It's not an angle they're super exposed to, it's just Life, but now he's got the info, and the shot landed to start this one off. Big swing to get the trade, and Autumn finds him with his back turned. Beautifully played by FPX, and they've managed to take behind a map that we were counting them out of, and of course we were. This has been a stellar map for Heretics, but not today.
No, it's another scenario where a team has come into their map choice, we've put them out as favorites, and it's gone the other way, and that means that we need ourselves a decider. Lotus will be coming up after the break.
Saying oath to my mirror, I won't slow until I'm bigger. Quote till I'm thinner, so my flow will never simmer. Gazing at the stars, cause I'm born to make art, though they'll never know how far. My mentor, stating judgmental, shady, no mentor. Only role models that they're making, don't cuddle. I can take it, bulletproof, how I make it. My music never dies, stay alive. Stay alive, yeah, they may shoot, but we find. Oh, say goodbye, our records play till we die. Take the L sometimes. I swear I might lose my mind. Brain's all good and fried up. Anxious fool going higher. Foaming away, I'm tired. But still construct an empire. Achieve that glory in the magazine. Write, repeat, this my story bulletproof.
Hello, I'm joined by Benji, Fishy, and Autumn, and today we are going to be playing Agree to Disagree. It's fairly simple. They have got some, well, I guess, cards, and basically I'm going to ask them a statement, and they have to tell me if they agree or disagree. Very straightforward. We're going to be starting off talking about our newest map. Abyss is the funniest map created so far.
Funniest?
Funniest. Have you had any laughs?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay. When do we count down?
Go for it. No, just go for it. Straight away.
Agree. Yeah, not as strongly, but it is good. Like, bro, the amount of time, especially when like the map first came out, bro, everybody was just dying. Like in scrims, bro, you just see someone die off spawn, bro, just to jump off the map. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Same with me. I think I've fallen off the map a few times, and even on ecos, like sometimes in scrims we just 5-man jump off. Just not getting many health points, stuff like this. I think it's definitely funny.
Okay, statement number 2. Aspas is the best player of all time. Oh. You know, if you disagree, I'm going to ask you who is.
Nah.
Okay, agree. Who is then, Benji?
Who is the best player of all time? FNS, bro.
FNS. What is it about his game that you specifically like?
He just has aura. He just has...
Oh, come on.
Just his aura, bro. Like,
aura.
like
I see it.
In the you know, I haven't had the honor of playing against FNS. You know, sadly didn't quarter champs, but you know, I would be very intimidated. I'll be extremely intimidated.
He's one of the goats.
He's one of the goats for sure.
One of the goats.
So yeah, I'll go with FNS.
Okay. Well, we've had our first difference.
Yeah, I agree because I think Aspas is just probably the most consistent player I've seen in the game. Like he's just always putting up phenomenal numbers and stuff like this, and just the amount of consistency in this game, I think it's really like incredible.
Okay. I think this one might split the decision a little bit. British cuisine is better than Australian.
Wait, British is better?
It is better, yes.
What is Australian food then?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say there's not really that.
What is Australian? What's a typical Australian
shepherd pie?
A shepherd's pie.
That is also
that's English as well, bro.
Do you know what a parma is?
A parma?
Yeah, like a chicken schnitzel with like.
Oh, like in a wrap or what?
Chicken schnitzel with like cheese and tomato sauce, like pizza sauce.
Oh, I think I might have had it before. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm
that's
gonna be.
A chicken parmesan.
The thing is,
isn't that American?
Maybe. I mean,
Australian cuisine's not really a thing, but
that's the thing. Neither is like. I mean, you've got some English stuff, but like, I see Australia as just like a horror England. To be honest, that's where I see it. I'm gonna go disagree because you know I'm British. I'm not a huge fan of British food.
Disagree there.
Yeah, we both disagree. Okay, respect.
Okay. Well, the final and most important question. Tom looks good in his leather jacket.
Right. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay. Right, we're going to end it there. Thank you, guys. We're going to be throwing it straight off to the desk. Just remember that one. I look fantastic. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back, everyone, as FPX forces a Map 3 taking Bind, which we all thought was basically all done and dusted. But that goes to show you when it's Champions time, I mean, anything is possible here. And they even did it with a composition that was fascinating, to say the least.
Inexplicable is the way I would call that one. Because they came out and, I'm gonna be real, I didn't see the vision fully with this composition. I'm still not sure if I did. But
I don't know if they're...
I think Team Heretics in a lot of these rounds overcomplicated things a little bit. They kept on trying to go for these slow rounds, and they kept on contacting into players, just holding angles. It was Life holding aggressive on short. It was the Chamber and Showers. In so many of these rounds, these same early opportunities were being given away, and it was giving FPX advantages constantly.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think FPX had a decent game plan coming into this where they're like, we're just going to kind of play around their utility a little bit, like some of their smokes and the Viper walls and things like that. We're just going to find ways to just hide in corners, hide in angles they're not expecting, surprise the heck out of them. and just knock them down. The rounds where Heretics found some success was like on these heavy execute rounds where they were able to really put together these successful, you know, snowballs into a site, just take over the round, and then their post plan is just way better because they have a lot more mollies and things to work with. So there were those opportunities, but like you were saying, they just kept contacting into players and dying.
But I think this is the classic FPX, where they play a comp that isn't optimal, that doesn't have like the perfect idea behind it always, but they just execute on things solidly. They play off each other really well. They have some insane individuals. I mean, the amount of just rounds won on mechanics this map was so impressive. Like, these are good players that play well as a team, and they'll really catch you off guard, as we saw here on Bind.
Yeah, they were able to pick up the dub, but of course, it's time for our Verizon high-speed moment. We're going to give this one to Benji Fishy for his 3K in round 4, even though, you know, the Heretics boys weren't able to walk away with the dub. I mean, still, you know, you get a couple people walking in through the teleporter, you're like, oh, hello. He just caught 1, 2, and on top of that, he was about to get gobbled up by the Fade util too. So that was great. And just another day of Benji Fishy doing something ridiculous and just shrugging it off. I've been casting him for a while. He does that quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, honestly, even with the situation that, you know, Heretics find themselves in here, you know, going down on Bind, when we thought that that could have been a given for them, now we shift our focus here, map 3 to Lotus, and what I'm excited about is we're about to get some zoom, you know, about to get some neon up on the server, you know?
This should be really interesting. I mean, a map that FPX beat Heretics on at Shanghai, again, different, you know, players, different lineups, that kind of thing. But there is some experience here for the side of FPX as well, going up against good Neons. They beat RB, who was playing for Titan Esports over in China. They were able to best him on Lotus. Lotus is a good map for FPX, and Heretics is actually changing it up completely. No Neon.
Wow.
So this is just the default comp. They're familiar with it. Everyone has played this one before, but that is really surprising. This will be 3 maps now without Miniboo playing the Neon that defined Stage 2, and I think defined Miniboo as a player. But let's talk about this FPX comp. Triple controller. It's a really weird one, but on their attacking side, it gives them a lot of tools to break up the map and scale into very small pieces at a time. Taking A, they're never going to go for the super early fight, but they'll Astra smoke one early close spot, then they'll Omen smoke deeper, and they'll have all these layers to segment and give themselves advantageous duels, and it's super disruptive because you're never in scrims in Europe playing against a team who has a comp like this. It's cool ideas, and FPX does it well.
They're testing your discipline. They're testing your util, and if you are going to be able to hold on to it long enough to wait for those actual executes.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have asked for a better way to kick off day 1 of Champions Seoul. We're going to map 3. It's Lotus. Let's find out who walks away with the dub. We're going to send it back over to Mitch and Tom for the call.
Thank you very much, GB. Yeah, listen, a 3-mapper between these two teams, I would have said it's likely at the start of this series, but after seeing Abyss, I wasn't so sure.
Did they sit down at the wrong computers? Why
Maybe.
is Woot on Omen? Why is Boo on Fade? Like, they've switched, but they brought in some of the same agents and then just sat down at the other computer. Rians is also switching to the Viper. Like, again, this is something completely different to what we're normally seeing. They're bringing in that double controller, which I don't mind. I can only assume it's because Woot's going to look to be that little bit more aggressive. Although saying that, Rians is the one that's pushing up.
Curious look for Heretics. My goodness. Well, let's see how this one pans out. Haven't seen Boo on the Fade in quite a while. In fact, doesn't even have that many games on it in total. Autumn has gone down right away. A few assists coming in. The Fade alongside the decay from the Viper wall. And they're looking to push right in towards Heretics' position. Boo, well, he has a tracer, a rough idea of where those players are, but he can't land the shots. Luckily, the rest of the squad is there to cover all bases. A flawless start to this one, 1-0 for Heretics.
Will it work? No, I'm kidding. That would be a little bit of it. But the thing is, winning both pistols has been the defining point of the map so far. Like, they've been both incredibly close. Okay, one of them went to OT, so I guess the pistols maybe weren't the most clinical thing in the world, but it could have meant that that first map went the way of FPX, and getting off to a good start here for the side of Heretics is going to be so important. I'm excited to see some of these role switches. As said, like, there's opportunities to see Woot get more aggressive. Like, a lot of the time, you're going to see that lockdown of the A site with a triple push up and then leaving that Omen behind. We saw players who like used to be duelists and stuff do it in the past, but Woot has sort of played every role. I can't think back to him playing Sentinel, but anything other than that, he's pretty much in the book.
You can almost say the same for good old Boo.
Yeah.
Over the years, he's done whatever needs to be done. For Heretics 1-0 to start this one out, and FPX just play the classics. A very light buy for them in this round, and Heretics will be sitting back, letting them run about the map and do as they please. No control over Rubble, which is a big part of having to catch myself. A big part of Boo's gameplay is what I'd normally say, but well, he's not going to be doing that this time around. We heard from Alphier at the end of stage 2 that he's very bored of playing the same role again and again, and he wants to play everything.
But didn't Boo got controller of the year in EMEA, right?
He
so
got controller.
like,
yeah, that's true.
Oh, I'm going for initiator now, lads. I'm going for the initiator of champions. Because why bother? Why bother playing the controller anymore when you've already completed it?
Yeah, completed it, mate. Oh. Got 100%.
This round should be very little. Any extra kills would be nice for FPX, and not an awful start. Managing to get those trades. Now, we haven't really talked about it as much, but the thing I love about this attack side triple controller is it means they can actually use that Viper screen for space into the B site. For Woot, he's going to be on cleanup crew. Now, any extra cost here would be a weapon dropped. They've only lost pistols so far.
Yeah, and Aya has a chance, but Woot's a little too quick. He was just the same, finding the second shot onto life, and well, with those connections, that is a 2-0 start. FPX, though, doing some damage. At the end of the day, the main heavy hitters are carried over to the next.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, though. I want you to keep an eye on where that Viper screen is going for the attack, because normally it's going to be used a lot of the time for A control. You're going to use it to try and sell a bit of a ruse, but most of the time, Autumn is going to be playing it at different ways to cross into the B site. So he's going to make it so that he can sort of section off parts of the door so they can isolate in by going through the broken door, and then also it sections off heaven at the same time. So it makes things quite awkward for B site defenders, and also means that you can basically go in, and if you go from mid, you can fight a singular angle. It's quite a nice Viper screen, but one that you can't normally allow, and something they shouldn't have allowed is Miniboo doing that.
Well, you think that when you commit life to holding an angle, that'll be enough, but Miniboo's off to a flyer. Started the first. Rifles for the most part on the side of Team Heretics. Not that many weaknesses. Odin bought up by FPX, trying to spam down early on A, but it's converted out now for the rifle. Oh, and it's converted back, and it's converted back again. They're juggling all the way to the spawn, and it's going to be chucked away. So just the rifles carried forward. And Autumn doing work with them already. That's Boo dropped the A site, weakened a little bit, but there's still a defender here.
Benji's still around as well. Rotation already coming in from Rian, so they bolstered this A site defense, and with 3 players already committed to tree, this could be a problem. They haven't managed to get out of this spot, but Woot's going to give them the fight. In fact, Rian swings with him, and both players are dropped.
Yeah, the call was clearly made to face them together. Can't quite account for those shots landing in that fashion. FPX now only facing off against a weaker weapon in the form of Benji, and Miniboo, who has hit a few nice shots. We'll see if he can find a bit more. He's gone down the rope. He's on the site, round the corner. They're not expecting it. The angle's open. He finds his one. Nade thrown, but he has a player around the backside. It's Aya on his way, and Ayung not even needed, really. The kill was going to go either way, Autumn or himself. It's only about who gets the orbs. Luckily, with Ayung finding it, he's 1 away from a thrash, which could be valuable coming into round 4.
Yeah, I think they did well with just the slow pace. Like, the weaponry really wasn't that weak in this round for Heretics, but the double swing, just being patient around the angle, and actually a little bit disjointed. That was the bigger problem. Like, Lysor is the one that gets both kills, because I think Rian's is just a little bit late on the swing, and that's enough for a double kill to come through for the Omen player. Another one who likes to switch things up away from Sentinel and plenty of other roles. And this early fight, well, fair enough, Woot. I guess you can just play a duelist initiator and everything in between.
Yeah, a man of many talents, that's for sure. A jack of all trades and a master of most as well. The Odin spray from Boo. It's stylish. I like it. A little bit of damage already, but Miniboo goes out to see if they're still there. Well, the info is at least found. Unfortunately, the advantage is lost in the meantime. Woot! Oh my goodness! 16 HP left on Berlin. 35, in fact, bit of decay in play. He's not going to be too healthy in any future fights. Thrash leading the way. B site to be cleared. I don't think it's going to find any connections. It will be recovered, though, for the post plant.
Yeah, and again, you can see those smokes already put into play. Viper screen could delay even further. That's going to be the problem of getting in on this retake, is you almost have to disrespect some of the utility that is on the FPX side, otherwise you're just never going to get a moment. Paranoia is still available for Woot, but does he use it up top? That's the real problem.
Yeah, he does, but he doesn't catch Lysor. It was used too shallow. And I believe Thrash, yeah, it's just now back online. So the chances of this round going the way of Heretics next to none, with Rienz desperately trying to escape, but running straight into the waiting hands of Autumn. That is a nice equalization. And for FPX, the ball is most certainly rolling on this attack.
Yeah, getting the hang of things. And again, we've seen this where a lot of the time the team that gets off to a good start is going to eventually slow down a little bit. Those pistols have almost been a burden of the first half, but in the second it definitely helps out a little bit more. I like that we're seeing a lot of the early fights actually be taken by the Omens. Like, again, you're playing a double controller, so it's not nearly as bad as your solo smoker going down. In fact, if you're FPX, you have 2 more. And both of them managed to catch fights on elevated duels. Again, FPX are going to challenge for this control. Maybe expecting a little bit more resistance, but it's much more passive. The weaponry is not ideal, but if they can delay, there is a flank coming. And you have to take into consideration there is no Sentinel online for FPX.
Young's lost half his HP through a spam through the door with the Sheriffs. And a push up from C. Lots of information. Yeah, I think FPX definitely expected a bit more aggression from Heretics. Remember, last round they took the space very quickly, sending life out into the open, but there was a player up top above their smoke, destroying their flash and taking a free kill on a player in the air. Now, they're much more cautious of that early aggression. Dizzy to be thrown through. Nobody caught by it. So in goes the wingman for the plant. Almost undeniable, but a potential reveal with the swings out. They hope they can convert a couple of kills, but they are kept in position, whether it be by bullets or utility. There's not much to be done on the side of Team Heretics. Just Woot and Benji left to try and clutch it all. 2 versus 5. The best they can hope for is damage.
Yeah, either that or to go down to the spike. A couple of ultimates getting relatively close. Nice shot from Benji. We know how dangerous he is with this Sheriff. Looking for a little bit more. 3 kills already. Another one comes up for Wu as well. It's now somehow left on to just Berlin. This round was looking all but done. He's been revealed. They know where he is as well. And already sending utility, but it hasn't connected. It doesn't even matter. 2 players survived. After what was every single man standing for FPX, somehow Benji and Wu have pulled off a miracle.
2v5 with only Sheriffs. MasterCard Thrifty on the back of Benji Fishy walking in to Tree alone with a pistol in his hand. This is absolutely outrageous. Swinging in for the next. The first shot didn't hit. The correction was there. And I think he even headshot the other player through the wall, assisting on the kill. That is a Benji Fishy round, and immediately FPX call a timeout. That's not a round you can ever afford to lose.
That might be the hardest they've ever hit the timeout button. That has got to be infuriating. And that's the thing, we talk about this with Benji. One of the funniest things was that up until very recently in EMEA, he'd never got an ace.
Yeah.
Do you remember the gun he got the ace with?
It was a Sheriff on Pine,
it was a Sheriff on Pine.
Yeah.
It just seems to be where, I don't know, maybe he puts like 85% of his practice. I know that's not true, but somehow just looks so good when it comes to the pistol. And that as I said, that's got to be a backbreaker for FPX. Like, you're in a very powerful post plant. I don't even think it was played that badly. Like, they try and re-swing off a pistol and just get domed. Sure, if you group up and stay together, he's never winning that, but to critique them trying to fight a guy using a Sheriff,
but I'll tell you what, Tom, if you were the last guy alive in your rank game, I think you'd critique them trying to fight a Sheriff. Sure. That's for damn sure. But
maybe if it was Benji Fishy, but unfortunately, he ain't in my rank games.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, I think you should be pretty grateful he's not around, Tom. The 3-2.
Maybe let me win.
I don't think he likes you that much.
Feel pity.
I don't think. But 3-2 for Team Heretics. I don't think they were expecting to win round number 5 when it started, and when they were in the 2v5, they certainly weren't. They're given a lifeline to keep the lead early on, deny FPX the foothold on this map. The attack side left with 2. Rifles bought up. A lot of the credits are down to their last, down to the wire. Okay. Don't want to see any crazy risks taken by FPX. They've got to be cautious in this round. It was Woot that got aggressive, that tried to get up in their face. He's lost his life now. That Robo control not quite going his way, but Rienz has done well to trade it out.
Hey, I'm almost wondering how. It looked like there was a smoke down. Did he just tap a couple of bullets through it?
I think it
he
might
was
have
still
went down
towards
just
the
after.
A site. Maybe, it is possible, but even still, it must have just been a pixel shot that he connected. I'll be happy with that because the early aggression definitely didn't pay off. Still have a showstopper available and actually gambled back towards the C site. 3 players. Come on, Boo. Maybe a little bit lucky to be alive. He's going to fall back with the smoke shutting him off completely and that control going the way of FPX. The only problem is they don't have a mass amount of time to only be getting this control now. There's still a lot to do.
If they switch back to B, they could be in trouble. I think that's going to be the play. Usually when it's low time left, that's where teams decide to take it. The spike's certainly on its way, but the nade has kept them back, bought a little bit more time. We're down to 20 seconds. And Team Heretics now have rotated in to assist on the A site. They're ready for this push. Oh, they're just now pulling back from it, giving up that space. It looks like FPX, despite the clock being against them, will just about have enough time to get this planted.
Yeah, I don't think they mind that though. Having the lockdown available and the showstopper. In fact, the showstopper committed immediately. Maybe trying to force players back. Instead, Lysor goes forward. Gives them that advantage. Another comes up as well. Finally, Boo has managed to get a response, but it's whether or not they even want to commit the lockdown. I think at this stage, it would be, well, an oversight to put that into play. Benji, well, he pulled off an impossible clutch moments ago. This one might even have to be better, and Lysor's not going to give him the time of day. An instant response from the side of FPX, and we're level again.
Big round by Lysor. That showstopper would have done damage, and I'm pretty sure Mini Boo on the fall off from it is picking up a little bit more, but he swings in. And the thing is, I saw 2 players behind, and the fact that he's able to get out of there, reset for a fight later on is huge. The fact that Woot, look, this is Woot playing an Omen. He's 7-3. He's having a good game so far, and he decides not to go for the standard control over Rubble where you shrouded step across, you tuck in, maybe you have a reveal come through. Instead, he's just peeking it because they don't get contact early. They don't have the wall. They're just assuming that FPX aren't going there. So in taking the space, he loses the fight to Autumn. Not an easy player to face off against on those shift peaks. But now we're neck and neck yet again. But the problem is
information.
The Heretics only have, well, Sheriffs on most players, Tom.
Yeah.
No, they couldn't possibly do anything with those.
They should have the read, though. They've pushed up C. They put Prowlers through B. So they basically know that this is going to be that early A control. So they can stack players up here. Bit of spam from either side, but they have to be wary of a potential double back towards the B side. And with Boo already being tagged low, there is going to be a push. Well, immediately broken, and I'm actually going to try and push into Rienz. I was about to say, going through a snake bite would be an incredible risk in a round where it's not necessary at all.
Especially with things like this now. Orb into Young and almost a double detain. But Thrash is stopped at the last second. Mini Boo up close now. Sheriff in hand, not able to land the shots. Life whizzing right by him as Lysor finds another. Now things are looking to be locked in for FPX. Just a few pistols left, and Benji's not getting away with it this time around.
Yeah, still a little bit of damage across players, but not anything to write home about. 4 of the last 5 rounds, and well, we know what round 5 was. I don't think we need to tell you twice. Actually, Heretics are going to take themselves a pause. Understandable. This is one that seems to be starting to get away from them a little bit. A team that has had their ups and downs on this map, no doubt about it. A recent loss to the side of Vitality, I think, has called in this mass change in, well, maybe not so much compositionally, but more so for the roles that they're being played on. And for the other side of things, okay, they've had a couple of losses here and there, but it definitely feels like a middle ground. It's always close when FPX are playing. And the fact that they're currently in the lead after losing the pistol and losing a round to a Sheriff shows that in the majority of the buy rounds, they have looked a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and coming into the next as well, you know, sure, there's ultimates online for both sides, but my eye is drawn to FPX, to the Viper's Pit, to the Showstopper. Cosmic Divide, less so. It could be online for this. It's Life. It's been a little bit slower, but nothing I'd really complain about. He's entering in. It's tough on the attack.
No, but it's more so it's tough with this comp. Like, you're playing a solo initiated triple controller. Like, a lot of the rounds he's going brute force in, and that's the way they need to play, is he will be a sacrifice. He's happy to do that. That's something I love about Life in this game, is on this map in particular especially, he is willing to sacrifice himself if it wins the round. He's not one of those duelists who's looking at his stats, looking at the numbers. Yeah. He will go in head first and the trade will be there. FPX play like that.
He's the initiator's utility. Yeah. Sky Dog just going through. He ain't going to get the kill, but as long as you do, who cares?
He has a boom bot, and he is also a boom bot.
He is a boom bot with wings a lot of the time. He's been having his Red Bull. Well, for FPX, 4-3. Strong position, like you said, having lost the pistol, having lost a huge clutch to 2 Sheriffs. In a thrifty round. They'll find themselves in the lead early on. Team Heretics have ultimates of their own. The lockdown for Benji Fishy leaves them with a much more passive hold of C. Not in terms of utility. Alarm bot just there, revealing there's some players. But it's not like they want to hold on to this control with their lives when you've the lockdown.
I think also just FPX hadn't gone C. They waited for that showstopper. The utility is Sublime, setting up Life perfectly, but the response from Boo is ridiculous. Opens the door and an oversight, it seems. No one aware of that flank. He might have used the Nightfall. I think that caught everybody, and then they just didn't hear the sound behind them. What a play from the IGL. As said, a role that we did see him play a bit last year, but as of recent, hasn't been on that initiator.
30 seconds left.
Lysor's going to get a plant, but they are close by.
Oh, they absolutely are. Lysor knows that, having already heard the Prowler go around the corner. Try to get himself a foothold inside of Tree. Here's his opportunity. That door's going to open. That's a 1v1. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, Boo's playing it smart. If he opens the door, he gives him an avenue back into the game, back into the round. Instead, he's going to have to take down 3. Already 1 through the smoke, and the spams came close, but not close enough. There may be a hole in Mini Boo's earphones, but he's still rocking and rolling with most of his HP. FPX not going to keep the lead for too much longer. We're now tied up again, neck and neck.
Yeah, that was a huge play as well, because the thing is, we haven't seen FPX go towards the C site at all, and the initial entry was fantastic, the combination of utility, but then Boo just uses the Nightfall, and no one is aware that he's just going to open that door and go for the fight. Maybe they thought it was for delay, maybe they thought someone would come in from behind, but the way that he just opens the door and sprays them all down before any utility is put into place was absolutely perfect. Couldn't have timed it any better. Again, though, we now look at the response, because so far, Heretics have either won their rounds off hero plays, but actually just really off hero plays, or it's been the pistol.
Early fight and early success for Miniboo. They tried to cross this one conventionally, and it's not even Woot's rumble control that matters. The quick one shot to the head. Team Heretics, 4 players early on A main, now start to fill in the rest of the space. Again, they're confident to play retakes on B or C with a lockdown in play. No worries, really.
You want to fight it?
It looks like the B site retake will be necessary. Paranoia used. I expect Boo to fall back. I see him stood on the edge of that wall, though, and I'm thinking maybe he's going to go for a little nasty play. He's waiting for their aggression for sure. Viper's Pit used from the spawn. It gives them a little avenue back through, actually. They'll get very close with a lockdown in play. The players are sent tumbling back in the other direction. They almost have to fight forward for the most part. Boo's ready for them to start with, and Lysor manages to make it out, but denying this defuse could be difficult. They're going to have to find a couple of picks. With the players sneaking in inside the pit, they could already be defusing, and someone needs to get on that to check that they aren't. Pit gets dropped, shots landed by Berlin, put them in a good position. With the wall down, Benji has the line of sight on Young and lands the shot to bring it across the line. That was a chaotic round, but I have to say, I like what Team Heretics were trying there.
Yeah, I think the initial take from FPX is cool. It gets you into the afterplant, but just the ultimates that were available made it so difficult. Like, you had the lockdown to force them into an awkward position. The Viper's Pit meaning, okay, are you going to run through a Viper's Pit into a lockdown to try and destroy it? No, that makes it impossible. So the only place they could go was try and push into Boo, who was ready for it. And then it's just like, okay, even then you have that control. There is no line of sight onto the spike. There is no, you have to go running through a smoke or fight back in. And even still, Berlin made it close. Like, the fact he gets 2 is impressive. Even still, Heretics have regained the lead. Economy for both teams is on the brink here. Like, you've already got Boo down to a Bulldog, and for the other side, a light shield or 2 just to pad the gap. They're the ones with the Viper's Pit in this round, and Boo, well, it's not long ago I remember him using a Nightfall to win them around, He's one away.
You know, last round, 4 players on A from Team Heretics. They used the C's alongside the nade to deny Rubble control. They push up, taking the fight immediately on the players emerging from the spawn, deleting life. I think it was Miniboo that did that. This time, Miniboo's on the C site, pushed up on Rubble a moment ago, or on Mound, to find that little bit of control, spotting out that no one's there. It's got the rotations from Heretics focused entirely on this A site. And some players are defending the site. Benji is in an absolutely disgusting position. If they come through, I doubt they clear this corner.
Oh, he's going to look for the timing, and it doesn't quite work out. At least gets a little bit of information. Now, the reason they've left this solo C site is, again, FPX have been there once, and they got killed from behind. So they haven't need to stack up on this side of the map. The late rotation, the orb going up is going to be a problem. Miniboo playing up close, still has his nade. They haven't baited out any of this utility, and the push up from Life might try and sell the idea, but Berlin is just sat within this smoke. Rotation of the spike goes back, but he gets shot. He gets denied. Now they have to go in. They have to push in. And Rians has rotated through, dropped the spike on the ground, but he gets caught. Do they have time is the question. Running in onto the site. I think they've just about got this plant. It's going to be incredibly close and just on the nose.
That's Viper's Pit to defend the plant as well. This was down to less than a second, but now the advantage is clearly in favor of FPX. Sure, some of these players are low, but everyone's going to be low on Heretics once they get near that spike.
Right there.
Utility. Luckily, Life was dropped and he had a nade. That would have been a death sentence, but Berlin putting up a fight. 29 HP. That's his 3rd kill of the round, and Young easily taking down Woot, jumping up above. Neck and neck yet again, and it seems to be very hard to separate these two teams.
Well, yeah, that round came down to what, like half a second? Rians, I think if he swings a millisecond later, and you can't really blame him for it. Berlin winning a fight, running through a smoke with Miniboo waiting on the other side, and then killing the second guy. This was his round. And, well, a little bit of luck, it seems, at the end, but that was just so to the wire. And as I said, you understand why Heretics only left a player there. There hasn't been any successful C takes, and there's only been one prior to that round. It's absurd because normally you see, the C site is a pretty hefty part of a lot of teams' game, a lot of executions, especially when you have a raise. But for FPX so far, it hasn't been a big part of the game plan. 5-5, and as I said, the economy was on the brink last round, and it stinks for Heretics in this round.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of sheriffs, a Bucky brought out by Benji Fishy. I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. And sometimes you'll see, the orb up close like last round. Maybe he can get the value. No, he's going to have to do this dry. That's not an easy task for anybody. Has managed to get close, but the first shot doesn't land. The second does. A chance for a little bit more. He's dropped. But the Bucky isn't. It's recovered.
Hero Bucky.
Boo now has it in his hands. 2 bullets left, and he's out of here. Maybe a chance to reload as well.
Wonderful. He's got the skin for it, at least. One of my personal favorites, but I can't say I'm expecting much from the Bucky from this point onwards. Boo does have his ult, so does Miniboo. But I don't know if they're going to want to commit them here and more. With Boo already dead, the Bucky might find another player. It has. Rians has got one, but they're in fact going to invest the Thrash. Just trying to make sure that this round doesn't fall away from them. It's still a 2v2 scenario and not the cleanest from Young, but he'll get the job done in the end. Lead taken from FPX, this continuous back and forth that we've seen throughout this map. Come on. We now look at Heretics to see if they can respond and even things up. I feel like that's sort of where it should go.
Well, with how things have gone so far, yeah, let's carry it out to the end of the half. Defensive side, I feel like one of the weird things about watching this from having seen Heretics play so many games here is that normally you have Boo constantly on Rubble. They always have a main control, and there's been such a different identity to this defensive side. At least in this half, with the comp switches, you can very much tell that there's a different idea behind playing these agents, and I think I'm curious to see how their attack pans out. Imagine more of a blob movement and less variety to what we're seeing here.
Oh yeah, with the whole composition, they weren't running themselves the Viper, so maybe joining the norm a little bit more there. It does also mean they don't have that breach anymore, which I think was a big talking point for Riens. Someone who's so fantastic with that supportive utility is going to have to do it in a different way. Again, we see this patient, passive FPX. I think if you watched the last map, you wouldn't have expected to hear those words come out of my mouth, but this has looked incredibly different. Happy to play into the late round, using those rotations. That counter Nightfall is definitely going to make things awkward. You maybe expected to see some spam from Boo. Instead, Boo tries to go through.
30 seconds left.
Oh, Boo's found himself one, and he's safe in the back of the site. Showstopper's good for 2. Mini Boo making a mess of this round because that's the spike on the ground, and it looks like it's only going from bad to worse for FPX. Lysor, 1 versus 4. He'll find the first, but 10 seconds, even planting this spike is impossible, and more so now because he's dead. 6-6 at the halftime. It is difficult to separate these teams. We've had to go all the way to map 3, and it looks like we've got to go a little further.
Yeah, I think that it probably deserved to go in neck and neck. I guess you could argue with Heretics winning the pistol, maybe FPX should have come out slightly in front, but we've seen it back and forth all the way through. I think this round was much more of just that passive read after what we've seen over the last few rounds of this slow rotation. They tried to sort of hold on to it in this case, and it's worked out for them. Either way, we'll be back after the break with the second half.
And we're back with half 2 of Team Heretics versus FPX, map 3 on Lotus. This is where we're going to decide who gets to go forward and who gets to go down below. And for FPX, they've put up one hell of a fight. We counted them out when it came to bind, but 13-9, they took it. They dealt Heretics one of the worst attacking halves we've seen from them, the worst, in fact. And now, as we move on to Lotus, half 2, FPX's defense, Tom, where's your expectation? I don't know what to expect from Team Heretics. There's a couple new flares to them. But do you see 6 as being enough for FPX?
I think it can be. I think it depends how Heretics come in playing this. Like, you're going to know that this composition is coming, but because of the amount of delay utility they have, you have to disrespect some of it. You have to play through smokes, you have to take risks, and maybe that's why they've got Boo now playing that supportive role, so that Woot can maybe be a bit more aggressive around those smokes.
Smoke right away has deterred the plan of Benji Fishy to put the turret down and deny any control over the mound without at least breaking it and giving away the info. Flash sent out, destroyed immediately, and look at that. Heretics pumped the brakes with a 3-man firing squad waiting for that B main aggression, and it has come through. The advantage now concretely locked in favor of the attackers, and FPX, the remaining players, Young, Autumn, and Berlin, have it all to do.
This is a tough position to try and get back from, for sure. Riens clearly knows something that we don't, because he is fighting. And wow, Autumn, maybe a bit of a nasty surprise for him. It's going to be the push through. Even still, that advantage kept. And waiting to see if there's anybody lurking around the edges of these smokes. In fact, looking like they're going to plant for the link. Instead, though, they're met by Young. This round maybe overplayed a little bit and almost caught out with utility in hand. Even still, a 3 versus 5 turned 3 versus 1. Boo has to try and turn it back again. And somehow, after such a deficit, FPX have turned this round.
I do wonder, that feels like the kind of round you end up calling a pause after. A lot of individuals scattered across the map, destroyed in individual fights, trades aren't there. But ultimately, you have to give credit to FPX for being able to pull that back. Even given the opportunities often won't be enough. Walking through a decayed wall. Here you have Young catching one off guard, and Miniboo not adjusting in time. And then obviously Berlin onto Woot, another one of those individuals. They've got to be feeling good now with the lead locked in. It has been back and forth so far, but this second round will be a little tougher for Team Heretics to upset them in.
Yeah, we've finally seen a split of pistols as well. After both going one team's way, and for FPX after bringing things back to even in the last half, it's going to put them in a great spot. Quite a few Sheriffs invested into here for the side of Heretics, clearly believing in the power of the pistol, and I don't really blame them. It seems like Boo's still going to be playing a similar game to what we see from him when he's on the smokes, lurking on that side of the map. While for Berlin, it's a chance to potentially farm up orbs. It seems like he got a little bit lost there, though. Plant going to be tapped. I don't know if they realize the orbs are still here, and Wu wins that fight as well.
Well, you'd think I would have learned my lesson by now to stop counting Heretics out when they've got pistols in play, but I'll learn one day. FPX still have a chance.
My buddy's zipping away.
Easy sent far, but I don't think Wingman's going to survive too much longer. Yeah, he doesn't even get it to half. The shot from Life is nice, but they haven't dealt with the player on site. Rienz is going out for more. Oh my, what is he doing? What was that? A MasterCard Thrifty in an uncouth style. I mean, I thought he'd wait for the defuse, play the time. Instead, he's going out with his knife when he still has ammo. Okay, 7 and 7.
I feel like, did he just emote on him? Is that what I've just witnessed? Yeah. He just decided to do a little dance to almost just flex in a round where, yeah, they had nothing. They had a few Sheriffs, and he had a classic, and they had 2 bullets left. I don't know. I said it. Rien's post-plant, it equals win. I don't know how. I don't know how they're managing this, but for FPX, it's got to be infuriating. You finally, that's it. They broke it. They got a split pistol for once. And well, yeah, look at the economy. It's off the charts now for the side of Heretics. They're in a great place.
Yeah, but this is better than winning the pistol. Yeah, your opponents are down in the dumps, and now you get to play a round where you've been. Oh, hello. Okay, well that's not ideal. Benji's down immediately.
Cover going out.
Having been dropped now, there's I believe it's a rifle recovered by Berlin. Opportunity for FPX at least, but yeah, well, I was going to point out that Heretics can build up a lot of money because they're only against pistols, but, well, they've already lost one, and now there's a rifle in the mix. Things get a little spooky.
Okay. The rifle's now on the ground, and they're going to want to try and retrieve that. Of course, the other side don't know about this. Trying to bait him into an awkward fight, but Boo's having a great time. Finally will be put down by Ion. But even still, that time has been ticking, and the rest of the players on Heretics haven't just been sitting there. They've got into advanced positions. This post was looking good, but now they're both trapped into the corner. This could be a huge problem. Autumn's found another, and Wood's got nowhere to go, nowhere to escape. He's going to jump and just about survive, trying to do everything all on his lonesome, but he won't quite be able to. Left completely blind. It doesn't even matter. It will be a Red Bull clutch with the spike ending the round.
You know, I expected a crazy game after all you told me about FPX, Tom, but this, I mean, Heretics are matching them. They're on the level. What in the world have I watched in the last 2 rounds? My golly gosh, Tom, I'm starting to lose my mind. A Red Bull clutch by the spike.
I feel bad for Autumn because he did so much. Yes. Even just Woot jumping over. I don't even know if they had time from this point. I don't think they did. But just the fact that he manages to jump at the right moment to survive. Well, I guess technically they didn't at least get that massive boost in economy. FPX, they probably would have hoped for a win, but they can take that as somewhat of a win. Heretics will reclaim the lead. Again, speaking about FPX and their ability to compete with the best, you're talking about a team that was in the previous Masters final with a sub, or I will say maybe the GOAT of all subs in Battletech, because that doesn't normally happen. Boo almost caught, but he's going to deny any further aggression. Still FPX trying to find some way in. and delay. And you can see again, these double smokes, there always comes a point in the round where you have to almost disrespect them a little bit.
Well, Young had an angle. The timing not quite great. They were watching as he swung out of the door. Smokes go down, but I don't think the plan is to go to the A site. It looks like the focus is instead moving towards B. Prowler clears it. They won't waste their paranoia, instead using it much deeper, stopping any re-aggression coming out of heaven. Nade pushes them back there, and the plant should now come in safely in the corner. A foothold for Team Heretics, but Life trying to take advantage of the chaos. He's gone straight in with the blast back and got 2-3, lighting them up. It's Heretics on the back foot, out of absolutely nowhere. FPX have got control, and they're starting to defuse already. They've got to go running at them to stop this, and there's no stopping what started here. What a round from Life. That is unbelievable.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I think if you saw someone do that in one of your matches, you'd report them for cheating immediately. Because he is, it's like he's got a million sensitivity just spinning around. Benji's got to be almost broken watching what he just did. That's insanely clean. Wow, just as one team seems to take an advantage, the other comes right back again. 8-8. As said, there was no economy built up because of the damage done in the last round. It means there's 3 rifles available, and oh, you can already see the amount of space that's already been taken by FPX.
Back and forth we go. The Team Heretics will set the sights on the C side, although Bravwell slowing them slightly. Good damage by Berlin. Those spams are deadly. And even the snakebite kill for Autumn. In comes Thrash. It's caught one, but no one's there to convert on it. Flash used up. Young has to be careful, though. I don't know. Okay, they will convert the kill. And no punish. And then the swing from Boo traded out. 2 versus 1. And they could lock this round in here and now with the showstopper if they wanted to. They're just 56 HP, and that call's probably being made. Wood is low, has his ult, and Spike's right in front of him. You're right. He can take that teleport from the shadows. He'll emerge on another site, potentially. But it looks like he's going to stick the plant here and now.
Maybe realizing it's a tough win anyway, and by he should be dead to right. Did he use it just then? I feel like I almost thought I heard something for a second, but maybe not. I think he just got caught by Lysol. It is going to be that defusal. Well, not too much of a problem in the end. I think the only real worry was just how much Riens was able to do. It took an ultimate to actually shut him down. He managed to sneak past pretty much everything.
Let's have a look when it pops up. You're right. He did use it. I wasn't certain. I didn't think I heard something, but yeah, you're spot on, Tom. Used the ultimate and immediately got dropped.
I want to know where he was planning on going. Because he's using it right here. Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Maybe to try and go back into the spawn and reclaim other ground, try and find a gap. But yeah, didn't know his opponent was there. It's not the biggest ult in the world to lose. Like, it's not the end of the world. I don't mind him. I said I didn't mind him committing it to rotate straight away. Though aggression from either side. Life's got to be careful he doesn't get wrapped on. He does have some support. The flash is going to leave both players completely blind. Woo. Under serious pressure, and while that pressure is not easing up anytime soon.
Berlin, he's playing a risky game. With just Sheriffs, Team Heretics have done this before, and the Spike not down in a spot that's easy to defend for FPX. They don't want to take too many risks, although now the attackers are split. Benji's holding onto the space, presumably so the Spike can come back to him. In terms of utility, Benji hasn't used up any of his, but the Prowlers are gone for Boo. If he makes his way, he's going forward with the Spike. I thought he'd go back to the B site, group up, take this one as a team, as a duo. Instead, even if he does that, he's now down to just 49 health. And Benji not found a lot of space, although I don't expect him to do much here. Just sit, wait, and cover that plant when it comes through.
From
30
the
seconds
side
left.
of Heretics, they were hoping somebody would make a mistake. It's arguable that Berlin tried his best, but now the patience might just pay off. Benji looks like he might be about to be greeted. There's still plenty of utility to play with, but he is going to get the fight that he wanted, and he's going to take both. Now this becomes dangerous. The Nightfall committed, but it's only going to connect onto one. Boo looking to try and fight this one, but he's run out of ammo at the last second. A very nice try, but ultimately the outcome is as expected.
Just a few bullets shy of a successful round, but Young's the one to bring it across the line. Double digits locked in for FPX now. And again, you see what we mean with just Sheriffs. They almost made the 4v2 work, and who knows, if Berlin went down a little earlier, well, he would have had a few more bullets in the magazine. It's a fantastic adjustment by Benji. And like we said, just about able to take it across the line. 60 HP, 2 shots and he's down, but he'll carry forward to the next. A timeout called by Heretics, and this is the last chance for the EMEA Coach of the Year to have a word with his team, unless FPX call a timeout later.
Or unless we end up in OT again, which honestly, at this stage, I wouldn't be particularly surprised by. You have to remember as well, the road that FPX had when they're over in Shanghai, beating Foot, losing to Genji, losing to Heretics. This was the team that ultimately sent them packing, sent them home. To say that they're not looking for revenge, I think would be foolish. Obviously, it's not quite the same in the fact that Heretics would get another chance against a Masters winner. That would be the team they have to face off. Or if they turn it around and they win this game, then they have to play a Masters winner. So yeah, I guess playing a Masters winner where you can't be eliminated is slightly nicer. And I wouldn't even be surprised if there's a round where these two meet back up in that decider game. I don't think it's improbable. Even still, both will want the chance to face off against Genji, and for FPX more so, this is their chance of revenge.
A lot of ultimates very close to being online. Benji and Miniboo, Lockdown and Showstopper. That Young on the other side after his clutch last round just won away himself. For FPX, this is a round they should have a fairly big advantage in. Benji's already tagged. Lots of weaker weapons, stingers in play, but that's where things can get chaotic, where Heretics will move quicker, more sporadically as a unit.
Do they use the pit? That's the real question.
They should.
With stingers in play, it's definitely a possibility. On the other side of things, we've immediately seen an ult to try and hold them in position, but already they're pushing back in before we've actually seen the plant. And now it has to be the fallback. Never mind, though. Life has been able to take one down. Instead, though, he's going to be caught. A worthwhile trade. Showstopper out. It should be a kill, and it will be. Miniboo trying to fight up close. That spike still yet to be planted, but plenty of time to play with. And Autumn just holding back. That pit still available. Still possible to be put into play. And now it goes in. Miniboo, third kill of the round already. But he is traded out. And now it's the players within the pit. And Autumn's in real trouble. He's caught by Riens. It was the low weapons. It was the problem weapons. And once again, it is something that FPX just cannot deal with.
Well, they came into that round one away from Lockdown, one away from Showstopper. Pick up an orb for the Lockdown, and the overcommitment from Life. He gets the nade in, it does damage, it takes down Benji Fishy. Fantastic, but because he's detained, that gives Miniboo this kill, which gets him the ult, which is immediately activated, which gets another kill. And from this point forward, well, there's the point of no return. At least that's how it seemed to be. 9 to 10.
That's why I allowed them to plant as well. It really was a domino effect. And look at the economy on the other side now. Oh my god, he got two! He's got two off the back of just wall banging, and he's almost got a third! That's an insane start to the round from Boo.
There.
Mitchman's very excited.
I like this gun. Ever tell you that, Tom?
No,
I like this gun. It's a nice gun, it's a fun gun, and it's one that's given Heretics a real chance. Even up against pistols, you gotta be careful. That's one thing that I've certainly learned in this series. But they have found themselves an advantage that's almost impossible to throw away. We saw the 2 versus 4 from Heretics with Sheriffs. 2 versus 5. 1 versus 5 now with 7 HP. That is
Put it in
quite
the
a difference. Yeah. Get ready. Autumn's name in lights. But I think this supernova is going to be premature. It's going to fade to black. There you go. Boo with the triple kill. And a lot of that was down to those wall bangs. The big guns out to play.
10 to 10. again, we see a scenario where one of the teams is in the lead and the other immediately claws it right back. It has been a game that whatever way you think it's going, it could immediately go back in the other direction. And I feel like this is going to be one of those matchups that is going to become a cult classic. Like if you're a real fan of Valorant, you're going to talk about Heretics versus FPX, because last time out, as said, it ended in a 17-15 overtime victory for Heretics, which eliminated FPX from the tournament. Now, they're level again, 10-10, double digits in the ones, and they're going to have to try and come up with something here, because they're not out of it. They proved in the last map that even if Heretics manage to string rounds together, they can easily turn the game back into their favor. Okay, it's been a bit quieter from the likes of Life and Autumn after the last one, but it really is just going to come down to those late rounds once again.
We're going the distance, and I can't say I'm mad about it. Especially seeing Boo pull out that Odin gameplay. It's got a smile on my face. My favorite part about the replay was I was just watching Life's camera as he got hit multiple times, and he just looked so like lost, disappointed, angry, just every negative emotion stewing. We'll see if it continues. And maybe we'll see less A-main aggression from FPX, although looking at the mini-map, I don't think that's likely. A lot of players grouped up and ready to take a fight around this area. Perhaps some rubble control to be sought.
Will it be a pace change? Because that's the thing.
Like
Heretics have liked to do this, where their opponent calls a pause, so they do something completely out of the ordinary. It doesn't always work, but it looks like, again, they've just completely avoided the initial control over on A, expecting that to be a counter, and just taking space elsewhere. Now, they have Nightfall. They could look to commit that into one of the sites, but it's seemingly, it's just going to be the allowance of that control to be lost, and then just hit the site elsewhere. Not giving a lot of information. The only thing is Lysor, but he is isolated.
Viper's Pit C, and there was neutral A early. You think at this point that there will be some control, especially that one-way smoke gives it away. But it doesn't look like Heretics are deterred. In fact, Boo's moving around to presumably throw over the reveal. Or perhaps not. They're just covering the B aggression alongside the turret. It'll be a slower round from Heretics with 45 seconds left. The reveal does go through, but not outside of A. He's faking this. He's making it look like it's a B hit to keep those rotations dragged in the other direction. And it's Lysor that will have the pressure on him. He's conscious they could be here, but he hasn't used the paranoia just yet. Now they're close. Now the pressure's on, but he's caught the back turn. Paranoia out. It's caught him on the right. Miniboo can't see a damn thing. And shooting at the Tracers, not quite close enough. With Life stepping up to delete Boo. This one's looking done. The lead will stay in FPX's hands as they push up to 11.
Incredible work by Lysor. He picked his moment. That was the thing. There was so many points in that round where you could see he was tempted to use that paranoia. Seeing the Viper screen go up and basically just watching for any hint that the side of Heretics were there. And when he did use it, it was spot on. Like, he's able to push back out of what was the paint shells on his feet, get a second kill, and then at that point, everybody is focused on that Omen player, and Life can take the gap. And again, you give this man even a split second where you need to react, you're already dead. You don't have the time for it. FPX, after the pause, are going to respond once again. Well, there is a lot more early battle this time for A, but they've got to be careful. In fact, they're looking to try and get out of there. Woot is under serious pressure. They've got to give it up, but they've taken B in response.
Oh, they're fully in. 3 players in through the B choke point, completely abandoned by FPX.
Oh, no!
That's a sloppy fight if ever I've seen one. And Ultimate's here for FPX as well. They've got a Showstopper and Thrash to get back in. They're confident in playing the retake. Nightfall is available for Team Heretics, and it may well be used, and in fact it is used right now, clearing out Heaven. There's no one there. Now they start to realize where the push is coming from. All those steps are heard, but it's because Thrash is going to lead the way. It's going to take the point of contact. The seize is good. It keeps them in position. Showstopper used, but Miniboo makes up for the disaster earlier on with Benji up top. Sneaking his way up close around that corner is a player, and coming through the smoker, 2 more. He thins out the herd and leaves time so low that FPX are running for the hills, not even escaping the spike in some cases. Neck and neck. I'm getting sick of saying that, Tom.
If it doesn't go to OT, I think that would be the biggest surprise of the game so far. But honestly, Miniboo's reaction there, I love it. Like, sure, the initial fight didn't go his way, but Benji actually gets detained. So his choice there is, okay, I can surprise them. They're going to be looking to hunt down these guys. They're seized up. I'm going to try and take them down before they can get anything done. And again, solid utility from Boo just to set him up that little bit more. 11-11. No one able to break the deadlock. It has been like this throughout the entirety of the match. In fact, the series has gone this way. Still trying to fight for this early control of Rubble, and again, it's the same. So much utility being expended, Wook being caught by all of it. And he's going to try and get out of there. Instead, though, they try the same play. They try the same ruse, and it is not going anywhere near as well.
That's the spike down. And a flank underway. Killjoy turret down, so there's no way they even get that information. And it's double flank too. Life is here as well. There is no stopping the ball for FPX in this round. It got rolling, and it's trampled Heretics. Left them flat on 11. And now 1 round away from locking in this series, from the upset that we said, and the desk said, and everyone knew was possible today. But nobody expected it without Abyss. If that map didn't go to FPX, the series was done in everyone's minds. But here we are with a real chance to pull it across the line. The only thing standing between them and victory in a lot of these rounds, big plays from Heretics, and Miniboo has a showstopper. That could be a turning point to at least get them in overtime.
Again, we're going to see this control fought for. It has gone the way of FPX in the majority of rounds. Boo is trying to find something in the aggressive push-up.
We open
Surely they expect it. Oh, they do. That's a big kill. Berlin going down. It was a risk taken, and it was a risk that I don't know if it was worth it.
Doesn't seem so, especially with that showstopper online for Miniboo. He's the one picking the kill, but the ult was already there. And the C site now, knowing that there's Viper utility here, they're likely to use it to open the site. That's why Autumn has fallen back so far. He doesn't want to get caught by this big old rocket. But for now, there's no intention to use it. They're going to keep it reactive. I like this. Aware that FPX would probably fall back, would probably give them the space if they use it. Instead, they take the space for free. And now there's a showstopper for the 5v2. It's fired in blind in case there's a snake in the grass, but it looks like an overtime is already locked in. A big play needed. Young's been fantastic in so many rounds. And a spam here, my goodness, it could do a lot. But Lysor, he's conscious of a player up close.
Yeah, would reveal his position, not knowing that there was going to be an alarm bot there. He's trying to find a way through the smoke, and now, well, a 1v4 to Ace. He's been unbelievable, but this would have to be the best of them. It seems like OT is inevitable, and maybe it was from the get-go. The way this map has been going back and forth all the way, why not keep it going a little bit more? 12-12, FPX versus Heretics, always seemingly going the distance.
Overtime.
And who knows where it ends.
Well, last time their last map was, what, 15-17 in the end? So we may have some distance yet to go, Tom. That opening pick was fantastic for Miniboo, and like I said, just keeping that showstopper, holding their corners for the re-aggression, and knowing that this squad was likely to not sit on site, to not give them free kills if the rocket was popped. And it wasn't needed in the end. Round number 25 about to unfold. It's been pretty much neck and neck the whole way along. Even when it comes to buy rounds, it's hard to separate these squads. The one thing is, though, there won't be ultimates online from the get-go. We could see slower play to farm those orbs. Perhaps a more direct approach from FPX, but I'm looking at the map and it certainly doesn't seem to be the case. They're much more spread out, looking to take the control bit by bit and deny any aggression from this defensive side.
A little bit more tentative. A lot on the line. There's no easy games in this group. I think that has been proven. Going up or going down is not going to give you much easier opponent. Already pressure being placed in. Woot isn't going to be the one to find the kills. In fact, it's Rien's alongside Miniboo to do it. Leaving 3 standing, but I can't count how many 3v5s we've seen so far this game, so Heretics need to make sure they don't overextend.
Well, many games in the past, I'd be counting teams out at this point or a little further, but lesson learned. It ain't over till the pop-up comes in. 30 seconds, though. We're certainly close to the conclusion one way or another. Heretics backing off the A side as well, expecting this hit to be a massive rotation, a late play to see. Perhaps a push through their own spawn from the stairs, and they're covering all their bases, ready for these fights. Berlin can't sneak his way in, but they have at least managed to find the A site. A plant to be found.
10 seconds left.
But a 5 versus 2 retake. Team Heretics, even just trading at this point, will be more than enough.
Where do you go? Where do you fight? How do you try and remove this deficit? Are you hoping for a little bit of luck? Well, there it is. Still took some damage in response. Autumn tagged a little bit lower, has Lysor alongside him, but not for much longer. And with 15 HP, I think all the miracles are gone from this round. It will be Heretics to take that advantage, as they now need one more to end this series and repeat history versus FPX.
An OT victory to send them below. That's got a sting for FPX if that's where we end up. Yeah, because we end up on Abyss 14-12. The same situation possible here now. FPX have called a timeout because they know just how devastating that reality will be. Well, we see the Heretics side hyped up. Benji's got that energy in him. They're standing up, Miniboo's activated, and this is what we've been waiting for as well. It's not like he's on what we consider to be normal Miniboo form. He hasn't got 30 kills, so unacceptable, but he's starting to get that confidence, and that's all we needed to see on this stage as well.
He's had rounds. That's the more important thing. When it gets this late in the game, the numbers don't matter. You can have 30 kills or you can have 10. If you're the one that wins an OT round, no one gives a damn. And that's the thing. He had one of the highest impact rounds to even get them there in the first place with that push on the B site to double up. And that's all we're looking at this point. The same can be said for Life on the other side. Is it his best statistical game? No, but they've had moments. They've had opportunities, and oh, this is the chance for the coaches to make their money on either side. Yeah. Maybe calm the nerves. Maybe even calm them down after standing up and shouting across. We know that that can backfire. Benji's had that. Munyet won't forget. But back in we go. Defensive side definitely didn't look bad for the side of FPX. Very good at taking that A control, and I wonder if we're going to see Heretics look to hit elsewhere.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of pings from Heretics around C and B, but I'm also seeing FPX pushing up on Mound. 2 players. We've seen this before from Berlin. Just in the last round they played on defense, he was alone. This time doubling up to provide that little bit of extra support. And he grabs a kill for his trouble. They were sent back and they were smoked off, but somehow he's able to land that shot for free. That's the opening that I guess is karma for the last half that they played.
Timing, though, is going to be everything. Miniboo, as I said, impact is all that matters at this stage, and he's found a fight into that B side, but they're not going to look to play off it. You can see on the other side, Boo is waiting for a response, waiting to see if there's a re-aggress, an attempt to try and take this fight, but for now, much more passive. And that's mainly because, again, of that A site hold. You've got the cross being held onto. Autumn's position has been revealed, and I think they're just going to have to smoke this off and maybe get him out of that corner. That would not be a safe place to stay.
Still running into a pretty heavy setup here on C. At least the orb is down for now. It's not going to last too much longer. Those sprays are good from Berlin. That's his 3rd already. Damage done that Autumn converts on. And they're not letting it go just yet. Another overtime required. 13-13. There is no split in the difference here.
Overtime.
Sure. It just seems like, well, again, just look at the scoreboard. That tells you all you need to know. The back and forth has been truly astounding from these 2 teams, neck and neck. If anything, we should maybe give them both the chance to play against Sentinels or both the chance to play against Gen G, because it really does seem like both teams could or should deserve to go marching on in the upper bracket. Unfortunately, this needs to be decided. Battle continues, the fight for rubble. A continuous point, and actually a deep alarm bot being placed by Benji will mean he can keep this passive hold without needing to go for too much of a fight. In fact, all of his utility is used to that degree on B as well. You can see the turret. Now the rest look to just try and hold on to what has been a massive point of contention in Rubble.
Not the normal hold. You don't have an easy escape a lot of the time. I mean, sure, Miniboo can get out of there. He's got his blast packs. He's not on too committed of an angle. But then just take a look at Rien's. He's got no way out. The wall might help him for a moment, but okay, the spam is good. Now where does he go? He's stuck, he's naded, and hit by the snake bite too. Miniboo gets out, but the trade 1-to-1. It's not fantastic for the defensive side. Less players to defend this map now, and FPX still have the ability to take this wherever they want. The door is open. It looks like the spike is still going to the A site. They're committing. I thought this could be a fake after initial contact, but instead they're going to run heavy into 3 players from Heretics. And it's Heretics coming ahead in all the fights. Berlin left alone, 1v3 with an op.
Yeah, with an op and no shields. Like, he's got 20 seconds. He needs a miracle. He needs a mistake. I don't even think he could pull this off unless Heretics do something silly. And, well, holding already. Benji, he's not going to repeat that. Absolutely no reason to. They could wait for him to try and grab the spike, try and plant, but they are not giving him anything. A shutdown and another chance for Heretics as they get themselves to match and series point again.
Another chance to close this out. Moving into their attack side. This was a big gamble by them, the 3-man rotate to the A site, but it couldn't have worked out any better. You can see that from FPX's perspective, you find the opening pick, you have a lurker towards the C side who got absolutely no contact, and that for me is the sign to move around, but they're expecting that Heretics won't have moved quite that quickly into position. They wouldn't have that many players that close by, and perhaps they even isolate a duel, but instead they were the ones isolated, taken down, and with Berlin left alone, he had no chance.
I think probably one of the most fun things about this series for me is, again, you just see the depth of both of these squads. Like, I think Rien's has been outstanding on every single map. Every single map, playing different roles,
every role.
Playing Sova, playing this Viper. He has been outstanding. Gecko on the last map as well. And then, of course, across the board, the exact same thing. Ayung has been unreal on the Initiator. And you're going to talk about Life, you're going to talk about Wu as these superstars that we have seen time and time again, but it really has been like, at any moment, any player in this server could be the one to make the difference.
Yeah, I mean, even Autumn last map, it was really fun seeing him on the chamber. They were getting so much value out of that agent. For FPX.
Well, he played double duelist with this team in the past and has recently been moving to more like smoker roles at times and even playing some sentinels. I guess technically that is what he was on, but
yeah, according to the
not
rule
quite
book.
the same degree.
Yeah. I think you can do a little more with Chamber when it comes to fighting than a Cypher, for example, but I suppose it depends if the name's Runner. This is huge. The spam, though, has been dodged by FPX. This previously led to 2 players dying. This time, next to nothing. In fact, no damage, right? Walking straight into the site and finding the opening. That's Life down with a good opportunity to convert the plant as well. FPX can't really deny this. They have to fight for the retake.
Well, yeah, this could be it. A man advantage. The hold from Boo. I don't know if they will have heard him taking that little bit of extra damage. Well, they definitely know now. He's revealed his position, but if anything, that could be worse for them. They're going to have to try and fight for this, try and get back in. Paranoia has been used elsewhere to try and reclaim the baby door. Lysor's going to get one, but still the kill's going in favor of this attack side, looking to try and hold the line, and that's exactly what they're doing. Needs to be someone on this diffuser when it just isn't happening. It's left all onto Autumn. He's fought throughout this series, but I think the job is done. Time and time again, you'll see these teams fight against each other, and unfortunately, FPX fall exactly the same way.